Oxworks Island, formerly Stormwatch Island, is formally granted full governmental independence. The island shall belong to the Rookery Network, a sovereign intergovernmental agency. This agency shall be responsible for the island in matters of military defense, infrastructure, and management. That's what the document says, of course. But an unenforceable document is just pattern paper. Welcome to Bloodwine. Hello.
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 There was a lot of formulae in that introduction, Will.
Yeah, it was... What's that? 3/4 legal nonsense?
Yeah. That's a
But
good...
we're not a formal crew,
No.
per se.
No. You know, we're kind of more like kind of an informal sort of gang.
I like
sort
to
of
do
group
things,
of fellas.
things informally around here.
Yeah, we like
I
to
like to
have
do
a
things.
flat structure so that everyone feels a part of things.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we like to do things a little different.
There's no real boss here on the Bilgewater.
We're a family. We work hard and we play hard.
Huh.
Work hard, play harder.
Also, if
Vacation.
you are ever told, work hard, play hard, and in a family, you should leave the interview. If you're ever told, work hard, play hard, and we're a family in quick succession,
Yeah.
maybe write out the interview to see if it's a cult.
Yeah, it might just be a cult.
It'd be a funny story.
So I joined a cult once.
I mean, that's one time I joined a. I mean, is it?
It was a
I feel
weird
like-
thing called
Huh.
Cutco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a cult if they don't pay you.
True.
Cults, they don't actually like paying you. Is something that I've sort of picked up on.
We spent a lot of time in cults.
No, but I do spend a lot of times listening to Ono, Ross, and Carrie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they make the claims, they show up so you don't have to. It's kind of their tagline. Yeah, they're sort of like the nostalgia critic of cults.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like I shouldn't start talking about the nostalgia critic because I feel like all I would be doing is like insulting a middle-aged man who's never
Yeah.
gonna hear this.
Yeah.
It's a needless
Yeah.
cruelty.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
just...
well...
To be fair, so is most of his work.
Oof, ouch, youch, yowza, ouch,
If you
ouchie,
can't
wouchie.
if you can't insult a middle-aged man to his face, why even do it? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if you're going to
What's the
insult a
point?
middle-aged man, it's important that he knows about it so that he could be
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
To achieve the desired result of making a person sad.
Yeah.
It
Is
is
that
the
not
goal.
why we criticize others?
Well, I'm gonna criticize the flow of this game. Do you guys want to get started? Do some stuff?
Sure.
I would
But
love to get started and or do some stuff, actually.
So before we get started, is there any kind of recapping you want to go over? Is there anything that's on the forefront?
we're still
With your thoughts?
really confused as to why the red lobster keeps going off of our shore. I
Red
know that's not the name, but it's
I
the
love
red
it.
lobster.
Lobster! Down, down, down!
The Crimson Snapper keeps going off of our shore, and the crew keeps getting off and coming closer to land, and we can't figure out why. So we're gonna probably set a trap for them.
And we don't like that too much.
No, we do not.
It's not our vibe.
Well, there is expected to be a long commanders meeting. The captains have been kind of advised not to attend, not because they aren't welcome. You can come and sit in on it, but it's going to be just like a lengthy one.
Okay. Cool.
So,
I'll stay home.
what's everybody up to? currently?
I'm doing my morning ritual of trying to grow some herbs and spices for the island to make our food a little bit better and make Rooker happy.
Remind me, where is this?
It's just like a small plot, like towards the tree line, like not really,
Okay.
not really like super close to the camp at all, because if we're gonna expand,
Yeah.
like what the fuck's the point in immediately plopping down a farm? So yeah.
So you're still cultivating the same sort of area. What kind of stuff are you doing? What are you growing? Or is this just kind of flavor-wise, like you're trying to maintain the garden to allow it to take root a little better?
I'm just kind of I'm trying to grow because I want to be able to give stuff to Rooker. So I'm trying to grow different spices that are like typical to the area. I think we tried sugar, but we couldn't. We don't have the seeds for nutmeg. So I can't remember what I was growing, but I was growing something. I don't have it marked down. Even if I did, I would just mark it down as herbs and spices and immediately pass it to Rooker.
I think it was nutmeg because nutmeg is shaved hazelnut, and hazelnut comes from like a fully grown tree.
Right.
But there's other stuff that you could put together. You would just need to get some like source seeds for a lot of it. Here on the island, it's pretty small. It's mostly like local greens, stuff like spring onions and garlic. There's little bits of like
That sounds accurate to what I was producing.
there's little bits of like English mace and parsley here and there. But if you wanted to, you could just ask someone the next time they go to land to get you some seeds for some tomatoes.
Hey,
some
while you're
corn.
buying bird seed, can you also grab me like source seed?
Yeah. While you're getting seed for those idiot birds, could you get me something useful?
Hey,
Thanks.
Coco would never call any of the birds idiot birds, alright?
I just kind of assumed that you were like, my bird is the
Well,
best.
Warbles is the best bird, but
That was Sun's interpretation
Yeah.
of Croakwell.
that's
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
Like,
So-
yeah, okay.
Sorry, should we start with the meeting?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. First up is Bird Team. There's some routes remaining. They're mostly done. They've got the Freedlands done. They've got sections of West March. They just need to finish like the last little bit. They've got the Southern Islands, and they've got communication from both coasts. They're not able to run actual communications proper until they have the crypto codes, which still haven't been retrieved. Otherwise, they're going to be done by the time things are done. They just want to pick some things to prioritize. They're going to have to do a feed run later on. They also want to do ranger patrols around the island. They've been here long enough that there are going to be lost birds that, they should probably go and pick up. It's also a good reason to do a quick patrol anyways. They also want to know if anyone needs help, the build team or anybody else. They could do that if need be. So pick two things.
Well, I think patrols are like super important.
Yeah.
But that's also because we are the team that's responsible for doing.
Mm-hmm.
Patrols, super important, says the team responsible for patrols.
Yeah, patrols. Yeah, dude, we're dead without those.
In that case, should they go on the feed run, or will another team take it over?
They can go on the feed run.
Yeah, I think it's fine for them to go on the feed run.
All right.
And
that
I
does it
will
for the-
ask them to actually go and grab me some source seed. I will give them some money.
All right. Do you want to just like DM me like a list of like a couple crops, just so that it's like actually written down and you could scroll up to it later?
Sure. I will look at a list of things that might be applicable.
It's a temperate island. If you could grow it in like your mom's garden, you can grow it here.
Okay.
So
Bananas.
sugarcane was tough because it's too far south. and like the hazelnut was like a whole ass tree, but like mom's garden.
Mom's garden. Gotcha.
So box team, Boxworks basement level 1 and level 2 are all complete. They're mostly ready. Basically, you could pick either sending the box team on the crypto run to get the codes, or you could keep them there for the duration. It's a long mission. If you're keeping them there, they could help out with people as usual with additional duties. Otherwise, they could assist with patrols, and they could also just start working on the Boxworks. It wouldn't be any security risk. They're literally just getting like a stockpile of boxes and magical ingredients put in place.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I like Boxwork sounds like we need infrastructure, you know? That's kind of my thought.
Do they have their codes?
No.
We should probably also get them their codes.
Yeah, they
So would
probably
you guys-
enjoy that.
So would you guys be taking over the run and leaving them to defend the island in your absence? Or would you be sending them off instead? Because that means they can't do the Boxworks, because they'll be gone.
Can we not get the bird team to also get the codes?
The codes are... Everything else is just like supplies. The codes are highly secure. It's like basically just like top secret mission from point A to point B with escort from this section to this section and additional like you
Okay.
guys did this early in the campaign and it was a thing.
Okay.
It was a big thing.
Okay, so but they could go and do it themselves.
Mhm.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I think. I mean, we can't operate this damn place without the codes, so I think they should go get those. Like,
Yeah.
you know, ready at least.
So codes over Boxworks or
Yeah,
Boxworks over codes.
Codes over Boxworks.
I think so.
Alright. Build team. As mentioned beforehand, both levels of the Boxworks are done. They sandbag the camp, so that's now defensible. Like you can lean behind low cover, you can put a weapon down there. They have built a watchtower at the end of the pier as well. So like it's a big long T that goes off in those directions, and then the watchtower is right at the middle, and it's like, you know, like 2 stories up.
Mm-hmm.
You could look out a little ways. What they want to know is they like give a long elaboration saying they're separate things, but they're going to have to deal with the whole housing thing. Basically, though, it's a pick 4 situation. They need to make. There's going to be 4 towers in the Boxworks, and then it'll be done. And then there's a couple of different options that you could pick. So there's the Wizardry Tower, which is your. Not really your office. You would have like an office in your captain's quarters. It's like the way that like a prof would have a lab in an office.
Yeah.
Like the other one's your lab, which is also kind of your office. There's alchemy, which is under someone who works for Boxworks. There's command, which is where you would be having your meetings. It's also like fortified behind locked doors, so you could have like confidential documents kept there in advance, stuff like that. They also have a trapsmithing workshop that the Boxworks would be taken care of. Otherwise, the commander quarters and captain quarters still haven't been built, and they can't devote too much time to it, but like 2 time chunks they could spend to building additional fortifications if that's what you want. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, Wizard Office sounds pretty cool. Like, that's what jumps out at me.
What about the homes for other people? Like for the captain.
It's the next item.
That's like the item after
Yeah.
whatever we choose this. Okay.
Like it's they literally just need you to like pick which of the 2 options, and then those are also on the board.
Gotcha. I mean, I would love a wizard's tower, but I think probably the alchemy thing would be more important.
Well, that's 2 out of 4.
Also, why the fuck do I need a tower? Well, Krokul
Tower
is sitting there like,
stuff.
why do I need a fuck ton of stairs to climb in my day?
harder to rob.
It is
Fair
harder to
enough,
rob.
I guess. It's also harder to do things. So that's the main reason why Kroko was just like, screw it, do the alchemy thing first.
Alright, alchemy. Do you still want the tower, though?
Yeah, sure. I'll take what I can get.
So there's the two other towers. There's the captain quarters, there's the commander quarters, and then they could build additional fortifications on the island. Current fortifications are sandbags around the camp and the watchtower on the pier, which the build team did of their own volition.
I would probably have a list from Sun on like fortification ideas. Sun and Canonier, and probably even Bilgi, and like literally anyone.
Yeah.
So like Sun, do you have an idea for additional fortifications?
Well, what I want to do is I want to get a good place for Otto to be set up, and I believe we have that done. We got the sandbags. We can plant Otto right in the center of town, and then
You would basically just need to make a tripod for Otto, and you could just plonk him somewhere, unless you're making a hardware mounting point.
yeah, I'll make a tripod for him.
Both of those involve your crafting time, but it's your different options. The mounting point would be like anchored into place, like in concrete in the soil.
Yeah, I'll make a tripod for him. And then yeah, because there's also up in the tower that we could put him, but that's not a bad place to put him. But I think the tripod will be faster, and then we're also going to have the like telescope up there, which is going to get cramped. So I think at the center of town is the best place for Otto. And then yeah, so we got some sandbags. The one problem that I can see is we don't really have
Keeping in mind the camp's going to dissolve once everybody has housing.
Yeah. My only thing is we don't have a secure place to store munitions. Do we want to have? No, it doesn't have to be much, but even just like a bit of an armory setup.
Armory separate from the an armory separate from the quartermaster, so the quartermaster would be mundane, and then there's like munitions and armory in a different building.
Sun just wants a lock that he can put behind, put the powder behind, basically. If the quartermaster has that, then great.
It would not be only you who has a key.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Just
just Sun is allowed the key for this project.
Yeah, it's not that. It feels like a bit of a risk if somebody sneaks in here to just have all of our gunpowder just open for everyone. Yeah, that's the only thing Sun's thinking of. He's thinking back to all the ships he's blowed up with their own powder.
Unless there's stronger support, the rest of the people, like the rest of the commanders, are going to vote to get the commander and captain quarters next.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Brings us to the last item on this side of the page, and then I'll let other people do a thing, and then we'll go back to the meeting. So you need to pick one of each. One of them is for visiting groups. If you ever need an additional fortifying patrol, they're going to need temporary housing. The other stuff is for the people who actually stay here. So you've got 5 options for how your standard people are going to live. Basically, there's solo housing. Everybody has a tiny little apartment with a bedroom, a living room. That's it. There's duplexes, which would be, a bigger living room, a little kitchen space, 2 rooms. You could get manors, which would be full-size rooms with 4 houses. You would have 6 of those. You could get apartments, 3 blocks with 8 houses, or 8 rooms, I should say. Or you could get dormitories, 2 big, long rooms that house 12.
Well,
How
I'm
many
pushing
visitors
for
are
manners.
How many visitors are we expecting to have? Are these a couple
the
important
official
people?
They have to give an official capacity to the rookery so that they know the maximum they can send. It's 6 basically it's for an additional ship.
I see.
6 staff rooms and then 1 commander room.
Okay,
Well,
so
one
probably
captain
not the
room, really.
dormitory.
But visitors is a separate choice.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think something like a small apartment sort of situation would be fine, right? Because they're just
Yeah.
visitors; they're not permanently staying there.
Yeah, screw them.
But for the residents, it's not the same options for the visitors.
Oh, okay.
Really? I like Croco's just like, why not just make a manor? Fuck it. Like,
Big old just
if
like
we have the budget,
It would be 6 manor-style houses, not like one massive conglomerate.
yeah, that's fine. But it's just like Croco's just like, if we have the budget and we have the space, then why not?
Any
Okay.
opposition?
Do people want to be like? Are they? They're going to be living together though in that situation, right?
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know if people would really want to be living with roommates. On this
Yeah.
island, but
well, how far away from people can you really get? I mean, you'll have your own room, and it just makes sense to share kitchens and stuff. Like,
I guess, yeah, okay. I'll agree, but I'm not there, so
Manners?
yeah,
Manners!
Alright. Last thing on the list is for the visitors. You could do the like hovels where it's all individual houses. You could do a dorm, which is all like one building, or you could have them integrated with the rest. So basically, just build like an additional couple of manors to get visitors housed in.
Uniformity.
yeah, an additional dorm or an additional manor.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, additional manor. That's like the visitor manor.
All right. What is going on the ship? Are you guys sitting around and waiting, or are you out on patrol?
Probably out on patrol.
I feel like Sun wandered into his workshop to start working on a tripod for Otto, and then did not realize when the ship like unmoored and started sailing.
What about our fucking telescope?
Well, the lens isn't going to get here for a while.
I guess.
Can you work on the telescope that you can work on first?
Look, who's the guy making the telescope? I'm gonna make the telescope.
Worth saying, the first thing you did was you built Otto, and Otto has a mounting point, and then you requested the telescope spot, and you made it the same size of mounting point, and then you're building the telescope to make sure it fits that mounting point size.
Yes.
So if you build a tripod,
Yeah.
that works for both the telescope and Otto.
Yeah.
You gotta love the modularity in Canonier and Sun designs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're the modularity. That's our motto.
Well, there's only 2 people responsible for the design, and they're within slapping distance of each other. So
Yeah. Both. Yeah. There's a lot of slapping that goes on in that workshop that you're not privy to. Actually, it's kind of becoming a problem.
it pans to Ken and you playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
God.
All right. So,
No.
what time of day is it, by the by, for this patrol?
Probably early morning, right? Like it's morning time when, or kind of morning time when the things are going on, right?
Yeah.
Alright. You see that there is a boat that's coming like south towards you guys. It's veering off a little ways.
Better be.
Colors.
Burgundy, it looks like 3 masts.
Three-masted Burgundy. We haven't seen a Burgundy ship yet. I don't, because there was a red one. What keeps
That
barging
is the
in.
important one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the color, write down the name of the ship. Keep it in my
All right.
ship log.
Yeah.
You allow it to pass. You just take down the information. It has a wagon wheel insignia, and it's a merchant ship. You can tell by like the way it's outfitted. You can see like pallets that have been like strapped down on the deck that they hope don't topple over.
Mhm.
Mm.
You also note down that this is the second time the ship has passed. It's actually the very first ship in your logbook.
Interesting.
Okay.
I guess this is a regular route for them.
Is this going to be
So-
like one of those situations? You know when you've been sort of like doing a route for a while? Like if you ride the bus to like school or work, you see the
Yeah.
same sort of people and the same
Mhm.
schedule, and then
Yeah.
they just don't show up, and you're like, oh,
Huh.
what happened to Pink Bag person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you're living your best life, Pink Bag.
I saw a guy today with the same hat as me, and I almost yelled at the top of my lungs, "Wow, same hat!" But I don't know if he had read that comic, and I think ultimately I made the wise choice to not do that crazy thing.
Well, that's one that kind of wins out because if the guy doesn't know and you have the same hat, then he just thinks
Yeah.
you're pointing out that it's the same hat.
Very
I'm a weirdo, but I'm not
enthusiastically.
insane.
To be fair, I've had that happen. Like you buy from a chain and someone else buys from a chain, and you both bought the same jacket, so you're just like
Yeah.
walking along and you go, "Oh, yeah." It's almost always like a weirdly gleeful experience.
Yeah.
It's like it activates monkey brain. You're like, ah.
We both did we both did consume good.
That's true. I still think about the person that I saw wearing the same dress that I owned. I wasn't wearing it at the time, but
Mm.
I saw them wearing the dress, and I was like, oh my goodness.
It sucks when you're not wearing the same piece of clothing because it's like
Yep.
ships in the night. You're just like,
Yep.
I totally have the same dress, and the person's like, yep,
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah, it's,
goodbye.
Good to know. That's
my I get nothing out of this interaction, and my monkey brain is saddened.
Monkey brain is sad.
Yeah.
So,
very sad.
what do you want to continue with? The patrol or the meeting or sun crafting?
Let's do some crafting.
Sun
Yeah.
crafting.
So auto is heavy and auto experiences blowback. If it was just a
Yes.
matter of putting down like 3 sticks, you could make a tripod for like 1 silver tops.
Yeah.
But it's going to be worth 2 gold. It's going to be 200.
Damn.
It's
Alright.
mobile, it's shock absorbing, and it maintains bearing when set. It also
Yeah.
is able to account for auto moving on his own and not being swiveled, but also being manually swiveled on that point.
When
Yeah.
you said
it's
auto moving on its own, I was like, oh my god, this tripod is going to be spider legs, isn't it?
Yeah. Just a little Yeah.
This is going to
okay.
turn into some Terminator shit on this island. This is where it starts.
Well, if you wanted to do that, it would be a lot more expensive, but it is doable. but I-
Tripod's good for now.
I feel like there's kind of an agreement implicitly that Otto doesn't really get free reign. He can be on a track, he can be on a point, he can be left on
Yep.
with the right instructions, but he can't just go places. You would find him like obliterating pigeons in like 5 minutes. He would just
Yeah.
go a direction. Like
yeah.
the first time you let a dog off a leash and they just
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Roll in 4d6 plus 15 for a total of 26. That is 2 soldiers and 6 coppers. Got an eighth of the way there.
all right. So continue the patrol or go back to the meeting.
The
let's
meeting,
patrol.
I guess.
Okay.
We just did patrol.
Fire. Fine.
Well, meetings
All right.
are boring, Doug.
Yeah, exactly. Crowquill's already like half zoned out.
So you're kind of sitting there feeling, your warble's kind of like walking around on your sleeve a little. Let me double check my notes because I haven't mentioned these people by name because there's a lot of them. The commander, Rooker Blackfeather, has been, like, ever since you've been bringing warbles to meetings, has always been sitting right there, and it's just like, hi, hello.
Like,
And it's like, it's definitely really friendly and like a little bit socially uncomfortable, because I imagine, it's like Warble's my baby, but at the same time, this guy's the commander of the bird fleet. He's like a certified bird expert. So it's the
yeah,
double jeopardy of just like,
like Croquill is very awkward around it because, yeah, exactly. Croquill doesn't treat Warbles as like, this is my service animal. Please don't talk to my service animal. My service animal is working. Like,
hmm.
it's less that energy and more of just, you back the fuck away from my baby. But at the same time, Croquill has to work with this person and also knows that this person knows about birds. Probably more
Yeah.
than her.
Well, about most birds.
Yeah.
What about this bird, though? You probably know more about this bird than he does.
So Croquill probably just passively starts distracting Warbles away from him every single time he tries to talk. Like, just
Ouch.
takes out a shiny object and just starts flicking it around.
You've got the polished gear you got from Sun ages back that's proven a reliable distractor. Especially like Warbles has remembered it and it starts to be like a favorite item. The issue that comes up is with respect to the boxworks. The prerequisite is the crypto codes, which they're going to head out after the meeting to fetch. Once the supply and communications are good, they can begin actual like research work. The bulk of the work that they need to get done is the boxworks facilities. For that, they need to, like, you've got walls, you've got ceilings, you've got doors. The doors have locks. They have enough keys to hand them to the appropriate people. And they're going to be making furniture. The build team is making furniture. But they need to prioritize. There's 3 vaults. There's the daily research vault, which basically is like just daily research. You keep it closed when no one's there. You go in when you need secret documents. And it's only stuff you're working on that day. The second vault is the prototype vault. This is meant to be an object vault. So this is for anything you're prototyping that needs to be kept secret, an experimental prototype, a different type of like lid design, anything like that gets put there as objects. The third one is an archival vault, which is basically anything that isn't in the daily research vault or the prototype vault is in the archival vault. The other 3 options are on level 1, they need to make the factory just on a basic level. You're going to be a research facility, but the Rookery can't afford to buy an island and then not do other things with it. So they intend to have the boxworks after you finish your prototypes, like you as the people who design them personally seeing the rollout. The way they're delivered is they're just delivered as empty boxes. If they're not sealed, the magic doesn't activate. Something that they started doing really early on, so if they're stolen, they can't really be analyzed very effectively. They aren't activated, which is where most of the magic turns on. But you were able to pick 4 out of those 6. What do you think should get done first?
Factory's definitely last. Factory sounds definitely like low priority.
Did I just say factory and forget? I said 4 things, but there's 6, and it's 4 out of 6. There's also storage and prototyping.
Prototyping before factory.
Yeah.
Storage probably before factory, after prototyping. What were the other 3?
The 3 are the vaults in the basement. Daily research, prototype, and archival.
Daily research, probably.
Yeah.
We don't care too much. Archives are not super important as of right now because we don't.
Yeah, I'll probably put archives even below factory on that one in terms of priority.
Daily research, though.
Daily research probably would be the top.
So daily research on top. If you're doing prototype and the vault, which comes first, the vault or the experiment room?
Ooh. That's a tricky one. I do love the sound of experiment.
Experiment room probably first, and then we'll build the vault so that we have something to put in the vault once it's built. It'll be like a good christening. We'll have something that blows up inside of the vault, and it'll be like a wine glass.
Yes.
Okay. So the order is first, you do the daily research vault so you can have your documents. Second, you have your documents so you can go to the prototyping once it's set up. Third, you have the prototype vault so you can put your first products in there. And then fourth is storage. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that sounds correct.
All right. Magical issues. This is just extra stuff that they want to talk about if there's time. They need to think about this stuff once they start the experiment, so they kind of just want to bring it up, not really deal with it yet, just make sure that like it's in the air so you can mull it over until it's time to talk about it in case you have ideas. There's one thing to solve and one thing to fix. To solve is the issue of slow disenchantment. This is a general vulnerability in the box like making, which is a lot of this stuff reacts to disenchantment. It pops a whole bunch of defensive spells, it disenchants things. A lot of the time it'll just incinerate the interior, especially if it's low value mail, because like then you just have to say, hey, sorry.
Hey, whoopsies.
But if you like take a box and like this is something that would be ridiculous to do unless you're someone like a government that has the time and resources, which is your primary like most of the people who are going to try and target your stuff, if they can get a box, they can do rituals in like segmented parts, like one ritual action and then you leave the room for an hour, and then another ritual action, then you leave the room for an hour.
Yep.
And a lot of that can prevent it from allowing these things to safely disenchant, or it like has them go off between actions while people aren't there. So that's something to solve. To fix is the problem of magical identity fraud. People have been using like ritual identity stuff to pick up packages on other people's behalf. Pre-existing wards were working pretty well, but just the way that people cast rituals, there are a couple of popularizing trends in terms of candle selection and like incantation that have made it so that the problem's popped up again, and you need to solve that somehow as well. Is that something you want to put any effort into, or is that like we'll wait until we have all the prototyping and stuff ready?
We'll wait.
Okay, I guess we're waiting.
We'll worry about it some other time.
That seems to be our motto as of late.
So the last issue...
as soon as Croquill took over, that became the motto.
Yeah.
The last issue is the issue of Westmarch Intelligence. First and foremost, the Red Snapper. Floor is open.
Well, I am all for us capturing them when they come ashore to try and gather intelligence.
So letting them come ashore.
Letting them come ashore and trying to capture them?
Yeah, so we can figure out what the fuck they want.
Okay. Do we have, like, a space to keep prisoners?
No, but a couple of trees will do.
That's fair, yeah.
It's a lot more inhumane to not have a cage, because like things can come in the night.
Exactly. No, I don't know. I'm open to
at this
ideas,
point, like
like
there's all the commanders when you're like, exactly, they're like, we can't do that. It's a breach of ethics.
Okay, well, I'm open to ideas then, because we don't have a place to put prisoners, but also at the same time, like, these guys keep coming to our island and trying to sneak on, and one of these days they'll succeed unless we just sink them outright.
Well, we could, build a cage, or, not hold him prisoner, and like just catch him, talk to him, release him. Old catch and release. I mean, even if we put him in a cage, what are we gonna do with him after that?
That's true. Yeah.
Can't just keep him here.
could just stop them, ask them what they're doing, and then set them free.
They'll lie to us.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean,
That's when
I
you gotta set up
suppose.
some sort of truth spell.
We could invite them over for tea and get them real tipsy.
I'm sure the science behind truth spells is quite significant. I feel like that's the first thing that people would figure out with magic.
I feel like it's not even like a true spell, it's a curse.
So
Yeah.
truth magic is something that's like really frustrating because it works. It works perfectly fine. Except if you do mob talk, it just breaks the truth spell. Because then you go, yeah, I was with a buddy of mine. Truth spell registers that as truth. Yeah, we were doing a thing. You know, a thing. Registers as truth. We were working on a project together, you know. We work together sometimes, not all the time. You know, we're a community that frequently communicates. Registers as true.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're like, did you deliver a crate of weapons from this place to that place? And then you go, I deliver crates of goods lots of places, and I just accept what's on the manifest. It would be invasive to check it every time. Registers as true.
Because it would be invasive doesn't mean that they do it or not. Yeah.
So, if we
Is there a way
can't
to
do
force
that,
people? Is there like a way to force people to say the truth? Like to explain? Is there magic behind that?
No magic, just the mundane science of intelligence gathering.
We could beat them.
Yeah.
I love
well,
how quickly that descended. Just like,
No,
well, what
no.
What if we ask them nicely? Oh yeah, they'll lie to us. Okay, so what if we did some magic on them to force them to tell the truth? Okay, well, what if we just forced them to talk? Okay, what if we beat the shit out of them?
The commander of the Shadow Fog, Rooker Witchlight, chimes in and he goes, what if we let him lie to us? And then talk about what the lie was.
Right. Sort of an interrogation. Like that's kind of what I was thinking. You know, the way that most would do it. I mean, if we beat them, they're gonna say, "Huh, there's something on the island." If we say, "Hey, you know what you doing down here?" They're gonna say, "Huh, there's people on the island, but they don't really give a shit." You know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
just,
so rather than bait and capture, more bait and confront and repel.
I
Yeah.
think the most significant or the best way to interrogate someone is to just pretend to be their friend, right?
Exactly.
Isn't that like the most successful way of interrogating?
Yeah.
Is to just be friendly to them?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of those police interrogation things. I shouldn't do this in Son's voice because he wouldn't be doing that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Sun doesn't give a
no.
shit about that.
No.
But yeah, no, they're always just like, the big thing they do is say like, hey, listen, what you did, not even a big deal. Actually, people murder their wives and children all the time. I once had a guy that killed 3 children instead of just 2 like you did. So you should like, it's fine. You know, you get angry, it happens. So I
what's
feel
the
like that would
so
work.
what's the final plan for the Red Snapper?
Croco's vote is to just sink it and forget about it.
I think we should let them come on the island and then confront them and like be buddy. Like do that interrogation style where you're like, "Hey man, yeah, we're also on the island just like, you know, smuggling shit. Just
Just vibing.
just vibing, you know?
What are you guys up to?
What are you guys up to? Maybe we could you know, be buds."
Well, the Rookery imposes a hierarchical system, and Crowquill's the commander, but the ship doesn't work on a hierarchical system. The ship works the way the ship works. So if the crew is saying we should, like, bait them and then have a conversation with them, do you respect that? Do
Oh,
you
100%.
go with attack? Okay.
Yeah, because the thing is, if we do
If
that,
Croquill's outnumbered, Croquill's outnumbered. It doesn't matter.
if we do this thing, right, beating them up is still on the table.
This is true. We could just murder them later.
All right. So there's 2 last issues here in like the West March intelligence stuff. How they want to know how you guys basically are going to deal with the muscle patrols and dreadnoughts. Like, if they send like 15 ships sailing past, or if they send like a ship with 7 masts to just park itself right in front of you and monitor everything you're doing.
Well,
We don't really have any recourse against that.
Well,
oh,
we do
we
have
do.
sun. We
We
do
have
have
sun.
sun and the tuna maneuver.
We have the tuna maneuver if it comes to that.
We have the tuna maneuver.
Hell,
It's what
we've
Crowquill
taken
says in the
down
meeting.
5 ships in a row. All we needed was a day of planning. Like,
Yeah, no. If it comes to that, we have a contingency plan, but I hope it doesn't come to that because it's just like a lot of work making a bomb that big. And while I do love it, it's kind of stressful when everyone's lives are on the line. You know?
Well, the rest of the commanders already agree when you mention like sea mines. They agree with that, and then they kind of like, there's a difference between them going, all right, that seems like a fair plan, and then you go, yeah, or the tuna maneuver, and they go, tuna maneuver.
well, this is a alleged maneuver that was used by a group of people who allegedly blew up some Imperial ships towards the west coast of Soth.
It was allegedly one of my finest pieces of work.
And we could, copy that.
And
maneuver.
allegedly, 3 ships caught in the blast were instantly sank, causing us to only have to fight 1 ship and board another one. Allegedly.
And the only reason that we wanted to fight that ship is because we wanted to keep it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed
Allegedly.
allegedly we needed that ship to get survivors off the island. I don't know. We're all friends here, right? We did some cool ass shit.
And Crowquill is just like, it involved a person becoming a tuna in order to guide a person who is using a underwater breathing apparatus with satchel charges underneath the enemy ship and attaching them, and then a very well placed arrow causing a chain reaction that allegedly really ruined their day. Allegedly.
Allegedly, they had a real hard time.
The last thing I want to know about is how you plan to deal with a frontal assault. Like, if some people just come on the island with enough force and try to push their way into the boxworks and get all the information.
You've seen Otto, right?
Yeah. I got 2 words for you. Oh.
We have Otto, we have the sandbags, we're going to work on making this area defensible. And then Crowquill just holds up a fork. It's just like, and this is some devastation. And takes out Sun's, like, shotgun-looking holster, makes it so that I can, like, load it back in very gingerly and just kind of, like, clips it back in and puts it away.
And nobody knows what that is, so they all look
No one
at
knows what that
that's a fork.
No one knows what that
fork.
is, but when you take it out, the commander of the Shadow Fog, like Rooker Witchlight, he's an age 2, and like he bristles for a moment. You can see like there's like all the forearm hairs kind of like going up, and he goes, I don't know what it is, but I'm in.
It was just like, oh, this is some good shit.
So glad that we robbed that resource place.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
It was a good time. Good mission.
We did good work.
Well, it's the late morning. Crowquill, you're still ashore, and the rest of you are still on patrol. What's the plan?
We should probably, like...
Clockwise, counterclockwise?
Clockwise, I guess. But I'm thinking we should probably set up some satchel charges in advance.
Advanced satchel How you mean?
So, like, I just have them ready to go in case someone just shows up tomorrow or today and we gotta blow them up.
Where do you... Oh, I mean, I have, so we still have the satchel charges from,
Oh, do we? Okay, cool.
yeah, we've got a couple.
Cool. I like it.
This'll work well.
Yeah.
So you are going clockwise around the island. To the south of the island, you see a single-masted ship, blue.
Blue. Okay.
You notice immediately it's trawling. It's not staying still. And as you get closer, you see it's got a net behind it. It's fishing, but it's not stopping to fish. It's just trawling off the island. It's the bluegill.
The bluegill. Have we seen this ship before?
No.
Okay.
Get out of our waters!
Yeah,
Get off our property!
Right. Bluegill, red snapper. This is a theme.
Yeah.
I'm
So what's the
gonna
plan for that?
kind of bring the ship up to them. Just like casually sail towards them.
Well, they're a fishing ship, so when you get closer, immediately they're like, hey, what do you... They don't make a big huff or anything. They just watch. Are you guys wearing robes and masks? Do you have any of the insignia? Or are you just like the Bilgewater right now?
I think we should just be the Bilgewater.
Yeah, that was my thought was that was kind of part of the plan. I mean, okay, it's important to note, are people supposed to know we're here, or is this still a secret?
You're supposed to do your best at keeping everything that happens on this island confidential under the assumption that you are an island in the middle of like a traffic channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this place isn't staying secret for very long.
Yeah, okay.
If it was just secret, they would have hired one wizard to like conceal the spot.
Yeah.
It's keeping the secret that takes the Bilgewater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, like, we probably should, like, realistically should be wearing our robes then,
But you don't have to.
Yeah, and
Because that
some
might be a
hate
secret you want to keep as well.
Yeah, we don't want to let them know this is a rookery island.
some
In
hates
fact, we
the
should spread the
robes.
rumor that this is a cult.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if we wear the robes, then they will know that this is a rookery island. If we don't
Yeah.
wear the robes and we're like, hey, you guys need to fuck off, then.
But if you don't wear
okay.
the robes, then you guys like, are you mercs? Are you pirates?
Yeah.
We
I
can
don't
be
know. What
Privateers?
I mean, like, look at
insulated
us, yes.
cultists. We're an isolated community.
Isolated community of cultists?
Yes.
So, like, pirates, then.
Basically.
Yeah.
The cult
All
of
right.
money.
How do you guys think? Robes or no robes?
I say no robes.
Son's not wearing his robes. You can wear your robes if you want.
No. Okay, no robes.
They're trawling and they're kind of just quietly watching you pass, kind of curious. Do you say anything? Just kind of look at them.
Should we? Are they? How close are they to the island?
They're trawling with a net, so they're like a good couple 100 meters at the closest, but they're doing like long, swivelly kind of things just in the mid-depth water.
Okay, but not close enough for them to be able to see anything on the island, right?
No.
Okay, I'm probably leave them. I don't think we really have to. Be worried
Yeah,
about
these
it.
these are small fry. It's not worth
Yeah.
not worth getting uppity over.
All right, you kind of just pass by after getting close and giving them a good look. It seems to have unsettled them because you see them bring the net in and leave the island anyways.
Yeah, they don't like our boat too much.
Just have to flash the apparatus.
Yeah, gross.
Sun and Crokul, are you doing anything in the meanwhile, or do we go on to noon?
I'm crafting.
Yeah, Sun's gonna get that black lung again like he got with Otto.
Yeah, it's another 29 for a tripod.
At this point, Kenny like sidles up and he goes, "Do you want help?"
Yeah, I do appreciate your assistance in these matters.
He gives you plus 24.
Oh boy.
What's it look like right now? The tripod.
It's about 3/8 done. So I'm gonna say I kind of have the main base done, where the legs are gonna attach to.
Okay, so you kind of just have like the little nodule thing that's like the size of a lantern.
Yeah.
And Croquill, you are on the island. The ship is out on patrol right now.
I'm sort of debating. Part of me wants to sort of go along that northern coastline that that the Crimson Snapper keeps trying to like land at, and just plant like flash runes, basically, of like things that will make a fuck ton of noise, but not landmines, because that's Sun's territory. Just like tripwires of noise. I think that's what I do want to do. Just kind of scatter those randomly.
What you can do is get 2 glyphs of an opposing element. This is highly hazardous. It'll go whoosh. But if they both go off at the same time, they'll annihilate when the spells go off. But that could like blow someone's face off.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking.
The other option is like a ritual enchantment that might be underpowered.
Yeah. How about a rune that, like a glyph that basically, when it's activated, launches a flare up into the air, like just a fireball up into the air.
You could make a glyph that like targets up.
Yeah.
All right. How many of those can you put down if you spend the afternoon? Or if you spend the chunk just before noon, I should say.
I do not know. Shall I roll ritual to find out?
Well, glyphs are elemental.
Oh.
Ritual would be like if this, then this with this effect kind of thing.
Okay, nope, never mind. I'll roll elemental then to find out.
All right. The elemental. I'm going to double check the rules because I feel like this either is something infinite or it's flat or it's based on level, and I don't remember.
Where are the rules right now? Are they on
Bloodwine.fandom.com? Yes.
Bloodwine.fandom.com.
Is that like updated rules, or is that like kind of out of date?
It's a little bit out of date. I've been back with Reddit.
Okay.
I'm going with the standpoint that I'm using the fancy rules that we're using behind the scenes, but if you guys find something in the like wiki, then you get to use that and be like, well, you said it was in the wiki.
It's in the wiki. Well, it's in the wiki.
I rolled a 17.
You said that the wiki was the rules, so therefore.
Oh, well. Okay,
it's like the weirdest rules lawyering. It's like you're rules lawyering with 2 versions of 5th edition.
Yeah.
One was the work in progress version of 5th edition. Like, this one says that monks are able to do backflips and kicks at the same time.
people do that.
Yeah,
people do that a lot more than you'd think.
Are you talking about my summer job running D&D for children?
How are children that resourceful?
Oh, I don't know. Some of them. Well, it's important to know that some kids are like, yeah, I want to do D&D, but I don't have friends that want to do D&D. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. They've spent like, I don't know, the past however many years just reading the rule books, but never actually playing.
To be fair, I've done that with a lot of systems.
Yeah.
To be fair, I could grab all of my D&D books, none of which I've ever had the opportunity to really use.
Yeah, I have a lot of D&D books for someone who doesn't play either of the editions I have.
I kickstarted Stars Without Numbers to get their player handbook, and I have their player handbook, and I have no one to play with.
Sometimes it's just a good read.
Sometimes it's just a good read. I like their system. It's fun.
Right, well, just give me an elemental roll. I'll just have you set one up.
That was a 17 for that, and worth noting, I'm going to apply my artillery benefit for this.
Ooh.
So
Big
tell me about
plus.
this.
Well,
So it's a dart that goes up, right?
yes.
Is it a so dart goes up?
Dart go up, dart go boom. And I'm applying artillery purely because my artillery benefit, I feel, applies to this situation.
Yeah.
Because it is meant to be a burst in an area, and artillery just makes bursts go big burst.
Yeah, when they invented that stuff, that's how they described it
Mm-hmm.
in the patent.
So you
Well,
have boom.
it's
Artillery
it's
go
lunchtime.
Hey, it's lunchtime.
What's everybody up to? Is the boat still on patrol? Are you stopping in to pick up Croquill? Croquill, are you still up to other stuff on shore, or are you trying to flag down the boat?
big. Go on the boat for a little bit.
Pick up Coco
Yeah, we'll pick up the crow. We'll pick up old Croaky.
When Croko gets on the ship, it's just like, oh my god, that fucking morning meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why they pay you the big bucks. Do we have any? Do we have any fishing equipment on the boat?
No.
Feels like the sort of thing that we
Put
should
a
have.
trawling net on the apparatus. Just...
No, like not industrial fishing, just like a fishing rod. You know.
You pick one up on the next time you're headed to town.
I might have to do that. I don't know. It feels like the sort of thing that we should have, but
Would probably
What
no.
route are you taking? Clockwise, counterclockwise, some other kind of permutation? Hovering around a spot, stationing somewhere?
I kind of want to check the. Croko specifically asked to check to like rotate around in the position where we get to the cove first.
yeah, we
I
can
want
do
to
that.
go
Yeah.
check on that to make sure that that's not an area that they're going to be stopping in, and probably an area that we should shore up.
So you slow up a little on the outside of the cove while you're on your patrol. It's still the same way it is, like a narrow but kind of tall cave entrance. You don't see anything outside of the ordinary. The cave's still the way it normally is. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm worried that if they eventually find that, like they were working their way up the northern coast, and so if they eventually find that, that is the perfect spot for them to land. Because they can easily get pretty much anywhere on the island from there, and we don't have visibility of it.
Right.
Okay. So there's the cave that that accesses the beach. Like there's a small northern beach, and then there's a bunch of larger southern beaches.
Yeah.
And you put the glyph on like the southern beach where they keep trying to arrive, right?
Yeah.
So this is a different route that they could choose instead, potentially.
Yeah. And that's what Croco's worried about.
So what's the consideration? How do you want to shore it up?
I don't know. I'm
I
gonna
could do like a smuggling roll to find like where they would likely try to hide shit.
Yeah, like I'll yield to Jane on this one. It's just like if you were to hide a boat in there, or if you were trying to like smuggle yourself onto this island,
Mhm.
how would you go about doing it?
I'm gonna roll for it.
Clearly, these people aren't as good as Jane, but you know,
Of
Yeah.
course not. Of course
they'll
not.
figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
A broken clock and whatnot.
It's really funny to me, people complaining about D&D where like the DM will give NPCs and enemies like player levels in a class. And then you compare that to Bloodwine, where it's sort of implicitly implied that like, no, this guy has a screw over players
Yeah. To
specialty
be fair,
skill.
though, in D&D, when you give monsters player classes, they become horrific because it's meant
This
to
is
be
true.
asymmetric.
Absolutely.
Oh god, some of that stuff gets nasty. Even just some spells. Like,
yeah.
my genuine suggestion, if you're playing D&D, is don't give your monsters counterspell. And keep in mind that, like, counterspelling a wizard is, like... That's some bad guy shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
Yeah.
you shouldn't do it.
You
It just
gotta
means...
save it for the bad guy. Like the big bad.
And it's gotta be when the wizard totally would have got it. And
Yeah.
then you do it just then. And then I think you keep it for the next time they meet, but you deliberately blow it on an early spell, so it's like, oh, I've counterspelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if you wanted to be a dick DMing in Bloodwine, just give everything that execution thing. Where it's just
Yeah.
like, you basically can just one-shot a player if they hit.
Yeah.
to be fair, I give that to a lot of monsters. The rule that I put in place is that if you give that to a monster, you have to telegraph like a turn early and deliberately tell people they all get an off turn to dodge.
Yeah, I just remember that one time that Reggie almost died because the guy just basically was trying to kill him so hard, and if Reggie just didn't have the insane armor that he had, he probably would just have been dead.
It's also that time that, like,
by the way.
it was the time that Salas, like, punched a beowulf that was doing a 2-hit on a death roll and exceeded it by 1.
Look, I've almost died many times. I'm realizing that I put my characters into a lot of dangerous situations.
Yeah.
Well, you just gotta know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, nobody ever wrote a great stories about a guy, doing his taxes.
Or if you really want to be a dick DM, give everyone's Jane sniper ability and make them just surprise round them.
Yeah.
It's just like from across a fucking cliff that you didn't even mention.
Bam! You get shot like directly in the chest.
You take
40
120 damage.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're dead then.
Yeah.
Roll your death roll.
So 17.
17.
If you were to use this cove as a point to get in or out and to hide things, one, water. There's water. There's water. It's water. It's water. You might want to submerge things. You might use the cave because it's kind of secluded, but it's risky because the rookery's above it. Like, over top of the cave is the rookery that looks out everywhere with the telescope. That being said, if you could get here, you would be able to get in through a blind spot below. If you use the cave, though, you have to go by land through either the top, which I believe the rope that goes up there still isn't in use, like it's still kind of ruined. You didn't restore it or anything. So that's just a hole in the ceiling. It's not an entry point. So really, there's just the one thin cavern that goes from the beach to the cave, and then the mouth that goes in and out. But that's way too big to rig with an effective trap unless it's like a couple of them sequential, and even then it wouldn't really do enough to do the damage you need.
Okay.
As you're pondering this, there is a boat that's coming by. By the way it's going, you see it's like initially heading towards you, but kind of at an angle. You reckon it might be using your island for navigation. It's got 3 masts.
What colors and what insignia?
You take out the logbook, you start waiting for it to pass, take down the information. It's white and blue. It's got a breaking wave insignia. Looks like it's a commissioned cruiser. You can see a couple of people just sitting there and looking out on the edge of the rail. It looks pretty cozy. There's cabins, and like the edge of the windows look really nice, like the portholes. Some of them seem to actually be like double paned glass.
Ooh,
We should see.
that is fancy. No,
It remains at full speed, and then as it goes past you, it uses you and kind of goes meow, with the island as an anchor point on its route.
And to your left, you see these morons that set up shop a couple months ago. They're always patrolling. We probably gave them a pretty good spook just then.
God, if that was actually what they did, I would definitely be tempted to shoot them. Give them a good spook.
I will be back in a bit. You guys are sitting here outside of the cave. It's noon, and you guys still have a couple of days patrols to get done. I have plans.
Will has plans.
Will has
devious.
plans.
Will is so devious.
Devious.
Like,
Time to go to bed, wake up for the next patrol to see what his plans are.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you guys to just be like, you know what? Patrols really aren't for us, and just leave.
Just fuck them over.
Yeah. Like, Corpo wouldn't even be mad. She could survive on this island.
Yeah, I mean, you could, hypothetically.
Yeah, I could survive just fine on the island.
You could, Buzz.
I could return to my roots and live in a cove for the rest
Why
of my
would you
life.
Why would you do this, though? Because, like, there's other people. What are the other people going to do?
Yeah, fuck them.
Well, they're going to be like... I feel like if we left, they would be like, oh, we'll hire some more mercenaries, and... Like,
yeah, probably.
They're gonna make you. They're gonna make you like a bed. I'm pretty sure.
They are gonna make me like a bed. I mean, really wanted to push for the mansions just to have the fanciest fucking option available, even though Croco is not gonna make use of the space at all.
No. Well, that's your right, you know.
It is. It is my right. It's something I look forward to doing. Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh.
You continue your patrols. It's getting closer to the early afternoon.
I feel like early afternoon is when the Crimson Snapper shows up, so we should keep up the patrols, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I guess so. And then stop for supper. Do another patrol later, and off to bed.
It's around when you're like deciding to go and continue your patrols when like a little bit of rain comes by, a bit of storm, and you can see kind of trailing behind it, the fog is at a bit of a delay. Looking through it, you can very faintly see the outline of the shadow fog. It looks like they're heading out to do the crypto run.
All right.
Cool.
God, that must be atrocious. You're always in rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which way are you going? You're out by the cave right now. The cave is kind of like closer to the bottom. It's like off to one side by that like edge, and then you have like a bottom, like long thin beach, and then like a big wide like you could hang out on that beach. Then there's a lot of forest on the side. You like the pier is on the top of the island, but the rookery takes most of the center of it.
Well, if we departed from there and went to the cove bit, let's just keep going the rest of the way around. Do a loop.
Okay, this is off topic, but Will said something, and then you guys both went, and I was about, like, I had it in my throat. I had the also in my throat.
It is such a fucking default for me. Like, so many times, I'll be working away, and people will message me, and it's just like, what do I send back as a response? I know.
Sometimes it's just...
I hit him with a, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean...
Hey, this thing is down and it's broken. Can you fix it? That's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'll get right on it.
I'm imagining you set it up to a bot, and it doesn't necessarily have the right tone, and it accidentally gets like a major issue. So normally it's just like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'll check that out. Or it's like, oh, neat. I should look into that.
In
or
fairness,
it's like, okay, I guess I'll check.
That's not indifferent to what I would... That's not any different than how I would react.
It's like it's 3 a.m. You've missed 3 phone calls. They get like an automated text response that they don't know you have installed in your messaging. They're like, look, one of the server rooms is literally on fire. We need you to go in and stop a script so it doesn't consume everything. At this point, the only other option we have is pulling the power, but that's going to shut off every site, half the country.
And then
We
it's
need
just
your
like,
help.
then it just gets back,
Huh,
okay,
neat.
I got a couple of tickets I gotta look at first, but I'll get right to that. And that is what I would do.
Have you seen that happen with like the script responses where it's like it's not a bot, but it's totally a bot, and then the bot keeps assuring you that it's not a bot?
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, just admit you're a bot.
It's so frustrating. It's so much creepier, and you can tell almost instantly.
Yeah.
Just like it's too professional, but it also doesn't seem to know what you said outside of vague context. Anyways, as you reach the like north side of the island on the far side of your patrol, you can see that there is a 5-masted ship coming.
Oh, 5 masts. That's big.
Right?
Which ships are in our record for 5 masts?
Let me check the paperwork. Let me check the paperwork.
I have to
Paperwork!
credit you, Will. I have to give you credit, Will, for actually making paperwork.
Well, you asked for like the lists and the numbers, and it's like normally I would be like, okay, which person are you assigning to that? But it's like, no, there are people would do that on the ship. People would 100% do that. They would collate the data. Only one ship has shown up, and it's with 5 masts, and it's one called the Schooner's Doom from Westmarch. It's shown up once before.
And is this the same one?
As it gets closer, you see Westmarch colors, Navy insignia, Schooner's Doom.
Hooray!
It slows, and it doesn't lay down anchor. It just kind of like lets itself be pushed off the waves, like a good 500 meters off the pier.
Okay.
Hasn't fully let down its sails or anything. It's just sitting there.
Are there any tuna around?
No, not yet. Soon, my
Wow.
child, soon.
Damn it.
I cast Sense Tuna.
Well, like,
Okay. Looks like we're gonna need to have a chat with these guys, aren't we?
well, maybe an aggressive chat with bullets.
I mean, it's got 7 masts. I don't
5
know
masts.
if...
Only 5 masts.
all right. Well, they still got 3 masts up on us.
And we
Yeah.
have the apparatus.
We got satchel charges.
Look, I'm not saying that I don't think we should sink. I'm just saying if we do, there might be consequences.
This is true. But
Um,
we should probably sink them. To show that we're not an island to fuck with.
right. But, and I hate to say this so blatantly, but right now we kind of are. You know, I mean, we don't have necessarily infrastructure in place to, you know, deal with, say, 3 5-masted ships showing up.
Hmm.
So, I will say I explicitly
I think we should
chose.
chat first.
Oh, all right.
You're the captain.
Let's go up to them and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? And then maybe they'll be like, oopsie whoopsie.
Yeah.
Because they're not, I don't know.
No, I think you're right. They're not. They might be here for us, or they might not be. But
Well, you're getting close to them and close to the pier, kind of between the two. Do you slide along close to him? Ask some questions?
Yeah. Get the apparatus ready.
all right. I mean, we'll get her ready, but you can't unready that beast very easily. So you know, just keep that in mind. And then yeah, I'll go and start getting the apparatus ready.
Sun and Kenny both go down. They don't have to open the cannon ports. There's like a quick lever that Kenny can pull that just goes surprise and then kunk, 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 kunk right after
Mhm.
that. So it's incognito, but both of you quietly get into your seats. Kennedy checks some of the latches. He double checks some of the firing mechanisms, the cannon quality. You make your way into the munitions shop, which is mostly taken up by the ammo slides, and you've got them ready for whatever you need: the chain shots,
Mhm.
the regular
the-
just cannonballs, whatever it is.
I am terrible at like my social is 1.
I can be there to talk, but you're
Like,
gonna have to tell me what to say because
I
Kroko
don't
will just say
know-
"fuck these guys."
I should not be like captain because my social skills are not captain worthy.
Ken and
you
Ye
know?
said no to being captain, so that makes you the de
Yeah.
facto captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to tell me what you want to say, and I'll act as an interpreter.
I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not allowed to be here, fuck off. Is what I want you to say.
I really want the captain of the other ship to just kind of roll up and just be like, "What's that loud growling I hear?"
Well, in terms of the captain of the other ship going up, prowling up, does somebody want to roll understand?
I'll roll it. 3d6 plus 4. And that is 15.
If you mention that this is a Westmarch ship, because they can't fuck with you right now and this is your island, both Bilgy and Rooker come up just to be visible. Tiana leans in and gives you the play-by-play, which is what you need for the understand, with a 15, you said?
Yeah.
The captain is already leaning on the ledge and getting ready to talk to you. He seems to have a bit of a smug grin. Looks like this guy probably knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows this is your island. He's getting ready to talk to you. What do you say?
What was Jane's message that she wanted to convey? This is our
Jane's-
island, fuck off?
It's, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not allowed to be here. Fuck off. But maybe word that in a little bit nicer way.
Excuse me, officer. This island is a private facility, and we are asking that ships not come within 1 kilometer of the island. Please vacate the premises before we are forced to take action.
1 kilometer. Sounds good. He gives a wave and he holds up a finger. Does anybody speak in the party Western?
No. Jane.
I'm a Winelander. Would I know Western? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I probably
hear-
would too, because I'm also a Winelander.
In that case, both of you recognize not only this language, but also kind of sailor slang. This guy's lackadaisical in the way he's talking about things. This isn't like everyone like full strength to port. He's just like, okay, lay down the sails and throw the jib off the crate, like that kind of stuff. So he tells everyone like, go out to a click and park it. We're not going anywhere. You can see them like the rudder starts to move, the sails get adjusted and tightened to start gathering the wind. It isn't anchored, so it just kind of pulls off, and you can see the captain measuring out with like just like a little sight tool.
Can I
Gets
just,
to about a
can
kilometer
I
and he
mutter
stops.
a hex? On just for my own sort of fuck you guys.
What are you hexing?
I would like to hex just the sailor
And
working...
is this like a precautionary hexer hex, or is this like muttering a specific, like you're trying to make a specific bad thing happen?
I am trying to make someone get hit by the boom. Like someone
man,
not.
we got boom hex.
I want someone to suffer an injury just due to incompetence.
All right, give me a roll.
All right, that's ritual, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's 12, 14, 24. 24 for... 24 for Boom.
You mutter as you quietly sail away. It's the late afternoon, and the schooner's doom is still there. What are you doing?
Tuna maneuver?
I was just thinking that. What if we attach satchel charges to the bottom of the ship, and then go up to them again and be like, "You need to leave. If you don't, we're gonna sink your ship." And then they're gonna be like, you're not. And then we're gonna put off a satchel charge.
And hit them with the apparatus.
How about now?
I don't know. That seems highly irresponsible, and it seems like it's the sort of thing that could garner some sort of retaliation that we're just not equipped to deal with. I say as I come out of the munitions room with like 4 satchel charges in my arm.
Just like, yes, this could definitely garner a retaliation. However, no one needs to know if no one survives.
All right, then.
So what's the plan? Are you going to continue patrol while you get this ready? Or are you just immediately like grabbing these? Hey, quick, get underwater. Get underwater.
Continue patrol. Let them sit there for a little while. You know.
Yeah, let them stew.
Yeah.
Who's keeping watch for them? The build team is building, so they're at work. The bird team's doing that stuff, and the box team's gone.
Could have Otto.
Otto's not on the. Otto's not on the. Oh, is it?
Otto is on land.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we put Otto on land up in the tower where the telescope's going to go eventually.
Okay, so Otto's defending the tower.
Yeah.
We just kind of sign language to Otto of, we're gonna fuck that shit up.
I could. Does it need to be somebody on land?
What are you thinking?
I could always hop off. If it needs to be somebody, because they were like hanging around the docks, eh? I could always hop off and hang out. Yeah, but I wouldn't really be helpful, would it?
You would have to, according to rookery rules, leave someone as second in command.
Yeah.
But that's just procedural. You could just get off.
Crowquill on it, or not Crowquill. What's your bird's name?
Warbles.
Warbles. We could put Warbles on a tree somewhere, and just like Warbles can let us know if the ship starts coming closer.
I thought you were going to say we could put Warbles as an honorary captain, second in command.
Warbles is second in command?
Warbles would appreciate being second in command.
You're also right next to the pier. You can just like list over a little bit and talk to people and like wave them over for stuff.
Alright, well...
But I think the reason that we want to have a watch is so that we know if they start coming closer so that we can come back, right?
Yeah. You know, I kind of like that idea. I'll have Warbles kind of go and sit and keep an eye on them. And I'll just keep, like, a mental connection with them the entire time. While everyone else is, like, preparing for stuff.
Alright. You motion to Warbles, like, to get up to the tower. You kind of, like, go, and then Warbles flies up there and comes back. And then you gesture, and Warbles flies up there and comes back. You might need someone to help, like, keep him distracted or drop a little bit of feed. This isn't the first time you've had to do this, but you're gonna have to, like, get on land real quick and climb up there. And...
You know what? I'll just go off and sit with Warbles. I'll just get off here and sit with Warbles.
Alright, you just kind of like, yeah, whatever. You get off onto the pier and you climb up to the top of the watchtower where there's a lot of openings and Warbles can fly off in various directions. Is there anything you want the people on land to do, or just business as usual? This is nothing. Continue on the patrol.
Business as usual. Like, this is normal. There's probably going to be some fireworks tonight.
All right. Which way's the patrol going?
Counterclockwise. Spice it up a bit.
All right. You leave it behind, and there's a moment where you don't see much. There's distant, like sails, but they just kind of follow the horizon and then disappear back into a storm. They don't come close enough to log. You're coming around the other end when you see a four-masted ship coming to the island.
Is it also West March?
Yep. Navy.
Navy. They're just trying to bully us. I think we got to do the tuna maneuver. If they do the same shit, where they just park and like watch us from a distance, we got to do the tuna maneuver.
Well, they're on the other side of the island, so they won't even notice if their friends get sunk.
Oh, are they
Oh,
actually?
they're on the other side?
You would hear the sound of a naval gun battle or a ship blowing up, but full line of sight connection broken. Anything covert would just happen, and they wouldn't know. Are you allowing them to just sail on? Do you move closer to intercept?
If they go to sail on, I would prefer that.
It doesn't
But-
look like it. They slow up and start to park next to the cavern.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go up to them and be like, yo, fuck off.
It's the same fucking shit. You tell them 1 kilometer, they go, sounds good. And then they go park a kilometer off from the cave and just wait. This one is called the Storm Rider. It hasn't... Has it? Nope, the Storm Rider's been here before. Early on.
So here's my thought. Are these ships similar to the ones that we sabotaged earlier, in that would we know where the gunpowder is stored?
Those were from the Estron Empire's ships, which had a standardized design. The Imperial Navy... The answer is very yes and very no. They have the exact opposite problem with a very different but still just as weaponizable vulnerability. They have a lot of old ships that they've had to refurbish and maintain and purchase. The Empire has immense resources, but it's stretched thin and it's deeply bureaucratic and it struggles with its representation of the people that are under it. Westmarch is very small, very coordinated. It's just when you don't let people come in and you play the xenophobic, exclusionary route and you act militaristic around your borders, you tend to not have very successful trade negotiations, so they can't necessarily buy new ships. They all have ships from the past 10 to 20 years. Some of them are just random fishing boats that have been repurposed or merchant ships, but some of them are the same naval ships they had back in the war, which Ken and Year remembers the layout of.
Alright. What am I thinking? Oh, and also, would it be reasonable to make... Because last time, we were talking about fuses, and it was important to have a fuse that would go off at, a signal. Could we set up just, a chemical fuse that'll go off in, I don't know, a couple hours? I don't care when exactly the ship blows up. They're not moving anywhere.
Chemical fuse would be minutes.
Mm.
Hours, you would need it to be dry and set up with a timer, which means you would have to get onto the ship and put it in the belly.
Yeah, that's no good.
But the chemical timer could work underwater. You could rebalance it so it just burns in the water.
Witch light it.
Yeah, I don't do witch lights. I don't want to climb
To be
onto
fair,
that ship.
it's one of those things where it's I feel like Crowquill's answer is witch light it, and then Kennedy is or Sun is just I don't need witch lights. But thermite.
Thermite works. Thermite always
Witch thermite. Yeah, like here's my thought. My thought is just if we put an explosive, do the same shit, you drill a little hole in the gunpowder room and plug it with explosives and set some sort of fuse. Last time we had a sniper shot through it, but if we could just set a fuse, it'll look like their powder just went up. It's not. I mean, it's not common, but it happens.
Thankfully, it's never
I think that
happened
it
to us.
happens to both of their ships.
In the same day. Wow, weird.
Same day. Yeah, that's really what a coincidence.
Well,
It's getting
Yeah.
closer to the late afternoon. What's your plan now that both of these ships are parked?
I'm just trying to tune a maneuver. I mean, yeah, come on, we got to do it. Hey, Cannon, you could you draw me a map of where you think those munitions are on the 5-masted and the 4-masted?
The 5-masted is an old merchant ship, specific commission, I don't know, but check the middle. They would have put it in the middle for easy access, especially if it's a merchant ship, and it might not be guarded very well. The 4-masted standard Imperial, there's one 1/3 and one 2/3 of the way in.
1/3, 2/3. All right, so the 4-masted we can probably breach from the outside if we're sneaky.
Oh,
But
you don't even need to climb on. You can unscrew that window. And he points and he goes, on each of these, from the outside, you can unscrew and just push it in and screw the window back in.
all right. 2 windows, perfect. And then having to climb onto this ship. Having to climb on, now that's a real pickle, ain't it? Anybody up for a little bit of espionage?
Sure.
You feel like sneaking on a ship?
Sure. I'm pretty sneaky.
You snuck into an Imperial facility.
Yeah.
Do you want any backup on this?
Bilgy snuck into the last ship, and Tiana also probably could do some work too. I think both of them would probably be good options.
Yeah, maybe Bilgy.
All right. Well, it's the late afternoon. How are you continuing your patrols? It's not quite dinner yet. You're getting close, though.
So I have 4 satchel charges, just like lying around. So my plan is to take 3 of them, rig them with mechanical timers that will go off like hours from when we plant them. Try and disguise.
We could do. Set up one of them, so it has the charge inside. It'll go off like an hour or 2 later.
Yeah.
And then we could do the other one so that it goes off at the same time.
Yeah. Like set them both so that it goes off in 3 hours.
You would basically just take it out of any protective shielding that you would have for carrying, and then one side of the ship goes up. It might make the other one go off.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of what I'm thinking is Kenneth's timing mechanisms are like pretty exact. The man's like a clockwork steampunk master. So like, if I just had all 3 of them to go off,
if you need it an exact time, he can get it done that exact time, but he needs to know now. It's not something he could tune. If he tunes it, it's going to take way longer. But if you want it, he can make the mechanical detonator and then just hand it to you when it's time. He needs time to craft it, though.
Yeah. So I'm thinking mechanical detonators. We say if you get 3 mechanical detonators that go off like 5 hours after we plant them, then there's like no stress, right? It's not, we have 5 minutes till the bomb goes off. We got to plant it and run. And I know danger's getting discovered, but if they're both in the munitions room, it's like, oh look, an extra barrel of powder. You know.
What time frame? Kennedy keeps like interrupting and pushing past you, being like, he's holding his plans and he needs to get the math right.
Bilgy, how long do you think it'll take to swim out there? A kilometer.
Oh, a 1 kilometer swim. As what?
I don't know, a tuna, whatever's fastest.
5:10, just like the last one. Do you still have the old equipment? Should still work. Should
Yeah,
test it though.
I still got the old equipment. So let's say, do you have time to do all 3 of them? You want to say 2 hours? Would that give us enough time, or is that cutting it too close?
Oh, 2 hours we could get away easy.
All right, say 2 hours. I feel like that's a good window to stress.
2 hours. They might even leave early and get a surprise on the way home.
Yeah. I had that thought myself.
Ken and Yi gets the math done. He goes, okay. There's I'll be on a and like, oh, I've already got these and these, and you see him take out his gearbox and he starts setting them up in the proper ratios.
Nice. All right. I'm also gonna see if I can craft another one of those breathing apparatuses for Jane and was Tiana coming?
No, I think it was just me and Bilgy.
All right. I guess Bilgy doesn't need one then.
No.
All right. This is
if Croquill is on the ship, Croquill can listen to instructions to help with ship work, but can't necessarily navigate.
Yep.
Ken and Yi can navigate and do some rope work, and Rutger can also do rope work. So Tiana could come, but it would leave the ship with 3 people.
Right. That's up to Jane if Tiana.
No, we don't. No, we don't need a third person. We're not going to be fighting. We're trying to get it in and out sneaky, right? So
Yeah.
less people, the better.
All right. Well, I'm breaking you up a satchel charge for I guess 3 identical satchel charges, and I'm trying to, like, how do I put it? Decorate them in a way that is not suspicious to be in a munitions room. You know, like.
Okay.
Just
Want to roll munitions for that?
I'd love to. Man.
In this case, you could roll munitions, or you could ask Jane to take over for smuggling. You would effectively put the bomb in a container that wouldn't inhibit the explosion, but you wouldn't have necessarily the astuteness to make it belong. Jane could make it belong, but might have some engineering constraints.
Yeah, I mean, we're working together on that. Here, you give me your smuggling roll, and I'll do munitions roll to make sure that the bomb will still go off.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it's mental, because I'm not doing this physically. Okay, I got a 17 for mental munitions.
If you actually use any of your munitions barrels, they'll contain the explosion to the point where it won't make both rooms go off.
Blah.
What's the result of Jane's roll?
18.
18. Unless you sabotage the barrel along its critical safety points.
Now that's thinking. All right, I'm doing that.
All right. You've got your 3. You just kind of stuff them into a couple of old powder barrels that you don't need anymore. You're able to put the lid on afterwards. But first, you go in, you take your hammer, you take the other end, you take out a couple of key rivets so that it busts easier. The last bit is tricky. The beams will go if they go. It's more like the caging that needs to bust. So you have to cleave the metal on these in a way that won't be immediately perceptible. You will, no matter what, have the tools, but I want to know your method.
I mean, Sun's method is basically to take the tools, do a little score mark, you know, and gently cut it, and then slap a shipping label over top of the cut.
All right, so you go down, you take a whole bunch of old labels out, just safety ones, and then you don't bother concealing it. You just go clunk clunk. You bust open one section, clunk clunk. Bust open another, clunk clunk, clunk clunk. Another one for good measure, clunk clunk. And then you go, caution, do not touch. Yeah. Dangerous munitions, contains gunpowder.
Yeah.
Once you're done, all 3 of these, on aggregate, might beat your door for number of warning labels.
Nice. All right.
Kennedy
Yeah.
has 3 mechanical timers that he just shows you. He goes, the button, you click it. If you ever need to, just hold it, spin it, and then pull it out, and then it'll completely deactivate.
Okay.
All right.
How am I getting on the ship? Also.
Well, Bilgy is taking Sun. I thought I was going to take you.
Okay.
But you're not a shapeshifter.
I'm not. So I am looking for any sort of species around here.
Right. That's the part I forgot about the tuna maneuver. One of them was just a random tuna.
It was just like a literal tuna carrying Sun across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bystander, a by swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I promised them food. if they hung around in that area after bringing the person there and back.
To be fair,
I didn't lie. Nothing of what I said was a lie.
Christ. I forgot about that. Yeah.
while you're preparing, you need time to get these explosives ready. Which way is the ship going?
I mean, like around the island, right? So that by the time we're all finished, we've made the whole loop and we're approaching.
Well, it's not that
Ship
big.
again?
So, do you intend on like veering over to interact a bit later, or are you just like keeping up the same counterclockwise patrol?
Same counterclockwise patrol, this is a war of attrition. They're about to be attrished.
There's a 2-masted ship coming from. If there was 1 and 2, the number 3 direction is where this 2-masted ship is coming.
Oh my god. Is it another West March one?
It's green. The insignia is a fish in a barrel. It's called the Pickled Herring. It's a fishing ship.
Is it
It
trawling?
sees you. You can see that they've come out and they've got the nets ready, but they see the ships and they just keep moving. They go, nah, pick another spot. They don't seem spooked. It just seems like a matter of course. Like, you go one spot, there's too many fishermen. You go another spot, the fish aren't biting. You go another spot, there's just too many ships here right now. They don't seem to take note. They're just not fishing here.
I do like the idea that the fishermen are like, oh, they're about to try the tuna maneuver. That's not one we want to catch.
Nope.
Could you do a sardine maneuver? Maybe a mackerel maneuver?
Mackerel maneuver. Mackerel maneuver. What's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, and girl. Tonight you smell so fishy. Yes, you do.
1
I am-
kilometer away, girl.
Girl, help.
I am shocked you managed to connect those synapses in your head with macro maneuver and hey there Delilah. I don't see any mental leap there, but I am impressed nonetheless.
Gabe's got a couple interesting neurons that are connected in there.
Yeah.
It's why he's on this show.
Yeah.
I earned my keep. It's
Yeah.
like in Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've been playing, when you come back to camp and the boss man, he's like, yeah, I've been putting enough money into bucks. And it's like, yeah, you're so right, dude. Or Dodge, or whatever your name is. I'm so sorry.
I'm so torn on that game because for a while I just had it because of someone else, and I was like, yeah, I can play it. And there were some issues in its production. The teams were kind of mistreated.
Yeah.
But I am genuinely thinking of buying it again.
Yeah.
Because fuck Rockstar, but those people already did the work, and they did good work.
They did good work.
Every time you move around there, you think this game had 300 devs, and all of them did their fucking best.
Yeah.
I would say that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the last time I've reported insane dev crunch where they actually released a working game.
And it's beautiful, and even the bugs aren't that bad. The bugs aren't even frequent. The only thing I've ever seen is someone on a horse and then the person on the horse disappears. But it doesn't happen on camera. It happens when you turn. They at the very least have that polish.
I did have one animation bug where the knife was just sort of hovering in the air, but after 8 hours so far, that's the only
Yeah,
one.
those are pretty small. Those are excusable bugs, right, of a game
Yeah.
launch. Every
if
other
you're gonna
game,
mistreat your work, if you're gonna mistreat your workers, how dare you have the gall to release a bad game?
Yeah,
Like
CD
you
Projekt
overworked
Red.
them. You didn't even make something good.
Yeah,
You could have let
DICE.
them have a break, and the game would have been of the same quality.
Probably better on it. Like if we're if we want to play that game, like
Probably
maybe there's a reason it's all buggy was because they were crunching.
Like, but yeah.
I'm a strong believer in like really not announcing a game until you already know when it's gonna come out.
Dear
Yeah.
God, yeah.
And it can't be what the studio says. It has to be what like the most pessimistic dev says.
Yeah.
I think
Like
that's true.
if you say, can we release in a year, and the most pessimistic dev says fine, then you can release in a year. If the most pessimistic dev says no, your game's not gonna be good. It's gonna be
Yeah.
broken. You're gonna get articles written about you. You're gonna get Twitter threads.
Watch out, you're not going to be able to turn this game into an NFT bump and dump.
Yeah, Ubisoft.
The thing about dev work is like sometimes it's like, yeah, you can complete this in 8 hours, and then it takes you 4 days. And
Yeah.
then sometimes you're like, yeah, I can complete this in 8 hours, and you complete it in an hour. You know?
Yeah.
It's like if I knew how
Yeah.
long it would take to complete, I would have already had done it. Because, like, there's
Yeah, if
just
I
no
had
way
an
to-
exact
to
estimate,
calculate
then
it.
I would have been done by now.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting close to dinner time. The pickled herring left.
Yay! He knows what's good for him.
The schooners Doom and Stormrider are still sitting there.
oh no.
So what we're doing is setting up charges on one of them, going to the other ship, setting up charges on that ship, and then blowing them
Yeah.
both up at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our job is just to set up the satchels and then sit back and like wait.
But you
so,
still only have the
yeah.
one breathing apparatus completed, which is the one from the old
Uh,
one, which you also have to double check.
Yes. I would like to make a second one and double check that one. How much money does it cost to make a breathing apparatus?
I think I said it was something like 5 silver. So
Okay.
50.
Well, that's a 24.
All right.
Towards apparatus.
So you start taking measurements and you start cutting big sections of leather off from your supplies. You get big long bits for the tubes, and then from there you cut them into segments so you can retie them and give them better flexibility and strength. After that, you take out your burnishing tools and your tying tools and get ready to seal this up and get it all arranged in order. It's dinner. What's the plan? You guys have been sailing since like the early morning. It's a little tiring.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes the most sense is for us to like stop patrolling, like take a dinner break, and they're gonna go, they're weak, and then we blow them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But Sun's not going to be doing that. Sun's going to be working through dinner to get these breathing apparatuses ready. So it's kind of up to what the rest of the crew wants to do.
I think that's a good plan.
All right. Who's on which position? The crew's going to rotate out because they've been piloting this ship a little while.
I'll rotate in because I've been just chilling with Warbles, so I'm fresh.
You're fresh.
All right, you're able to like lean on one of the masts nearby at a couple of the tie points. As long as someone else is midshipping and there's 3 people piloting the ship, then you're able to help out. Who are the other 2?
Not Sun. What's Tiana doing?
Tiana gets up and gets ready to sail a little bit later through dinner and presumably into the night. Bilgy is coming off shift, and is going to try and get a bit of a nap.
Okay.
Rooker's gonna get some dinner ready and then just kind of leave it in a pot, tells people to get it when they need it, but then he's gonna also get a bit of rest in case he needs to do a midnight shift.
All right.
Ken and Ye would be the one who gets up and takes a seat, starts to pilot, which leaves Jane necessarily being on the deck.
Okay. I can be on deck.
Which way is the patrol going?
Counterclockwise.
Always counterclockwise.
You keep up the same route, and you see a one-masted ship approaching the thinner of the southern beaches.
What does it look like?
It's got one mast. It's a little bit later, so it's tough to tell the color right away. It looks like it's red, has a fish insignia.
Son.
Would this
We'll
happen
have
to
to
be
check this
a would this happen to be a crimson snapper, would you say?
It's the red snapper. What's your plan for this?
We just have to scare him off right now.
Yeah, I really want to
can't
just
deal with
roll up and just be like, not now, get the fuck out of here.
We're busy, okay? We're gonna deal with you later, but...
Look, we'll
We'll
kidnap
go.
you guys later, alright? Just get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so what do you look like when you sail up next to them?
Standing on deck. Crossbow in hand. Hey! You got business?
They just kind of look at you and they're like, all right, we won't fish here anymore, all right? It was a good spot. You just kind of sail off. The other ships haven't left, though. It's the evening. Sun's getting low. Starting to get a bit darker.
Well, we have a certain sun working on a certain breathing apparatus.
We do. We do indeed. Let me roll again and hope I
gonna
get
boon
nice
you.
high ones.
I'm gonna boon you.
No need. I finished
Okay.
it. That's a 30.
Okay, good job.
All right. One of the... what was I going to say? One of the aqua lungs is complete. You've now got two of them.
Yes. I'm doing just a quick look over of the other one, just looking for obvious holes and.
You do find one. Not a hole, but a bust in the seal. Now that you've found it, you can fix it reasonably quickly with the extra. The extra result of the previous roll is enough to just quickly patch it.
Perfect.
From there, both are good. They inflate properly. They retain air. They don't bubble underwater.
All right. Well, what's your preferred point of departure? We can leave from the boat a little closer, or we can leave from the shore.
Probably from the boat. That's probably better.
All right. So we'll try and get everything ready and slip off the side that's opposite of the ship we're approaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh.
So you're waiting on one side of the ship to make the dismount.
Yep. I'm activating all of the triggers at the same time. Just kind of a pulling all the pins out or whatever.
You open up all these barrels. You go click, 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 close, push, close, push, close, push, and then you have to use your backpack and put your backpack on front ways and the lung behind you so you can put them all in there. But then you've got your limbs free.
Nice. All right. So I have one. Jane has two.
You have one. Oh, okay. You have one. Jane has two.
No, sorry. Jane has one. I have two. You're right, because Jane is going to the one within in the middle.
So Jane, you don't need to do the backpack thing. You just need to make sure that you don't drop this thing on your way there. Or are you leaving it behind for later? You just have two for the one ship that's got 4 masts, right?
It's true. Do we have any more charges for later?
Oh, we got for later for
the other ship.
Okay, so I have one satchel for the. Sorry, you have one satchel, and you're going to the 5-masted ship and putting it in the middle in the munitions room. Or near it, if not in.
Okay. Okay. So we're doing this. Okay. I understand.
I'm headed to the 4-masted ship with 2 satchels, and I'm opening windows and putting them in.
Okay.
So are you going to like stop, wait for one of these to be complete, and then go to the next one?
I
That's
feel
kind
like
of what I thought we were doing. Is we're gonna put one in, go to the next one, do that one instead of us doing it at the same time.
oh yeah, okay, sure thing.
I'll do that.
All right, and then do you want me to come back you up in the water, or do you just wanna go it alone?
I'll go it alone.
All right,
You got
Broko's
me.
gonna summon me a fishy of
a
some sort.
shish.
A shish. I was gonna say ship, and then
Well, the ships are in 2 separate locations.
Mhm.
So, like, you would be dropping one person and then either waiting there for them to come back, and then, like, once they come back, leaving and doing the second one. Or you would be, like, dropping someone off in the other spot, and then picking someone up somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
I think
just
the
sort
second
of.
one, yeah.
Okay, in that case, you need rendezvous points. And it takes more than 10 minutes to go around, so you will need to surface and find a place to stay surfaced for the ship to come by again.
All right. Well, the
Go to
cove.
shore.
I mean, we could go to shore. The cove seems like an obvious
Yeah.
one.
Bilgi is willing to help lead you, Sun, back to the cove. If Croquill, you're willing to get Jane there, and then you would probably be able to get back to the pier safely, and then wait to be picked up at the pier.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Hey, sounds good.
Let's do it.
You make another pass. Are you still, like, you're just going counter over and over?
Yeah.
Yep.
When you make another pass, you see another ship approaching as you're getting ready for your tuna maneuver.
Is it a Westmarch ship?
Nope. 2 masts. At this point, you're probably going to need to start the tuna maneuver by the time you get all the information.
Yeah, we're they'll
We'll figure it out
sort
later,
themselves out. Yeah.
We'll just, prioritize the tuna maneuver.
All right. You don't fully slow up, just enough that they won't like hit the ground and get disoriented. You're kind of awkwardly holding the edge of like the ladder off the ship, and then you kind of like floof. As you get steadied, you see Bilgi go off, and then he catches up to you on the tuna itself. From there, you're able to grab onto fins and put the mouthpiece on and go whoop, underwater.
Yeehaw!
The ship that you saw approaching is green-yellow. It's a fishing boat, it looks like.
Oh my
Alright.
god, they just don't learn.
It's called the Yellow Belly.
Yeah.
Yellow belly.
Well, here's hope. Here's hope in there, as scary
Yeah.
as the name implies.
Here's open. You better be.
So, who do we follow? The ship or the people underwater doing the maneuver?
Let's follow the maneuver first.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out what's going on with the ship afterwards.
Okay, you are underwater. Do you want to give me a brawn roll to keep up with Bilgi's speed?
Yes. Brawn roll. Let me just see here. That's a 20. Oh, nope. 20. Just a flat 20.
A flat 20. You have a nice firm grip and you keep getting there all the way. You reach the point where, like, there's almost like a fake out and then a second wind, and then you actually start to tire out.
Yeah.
So you're, like, on the first tire out. You know the second wind's coming, but your arm's kind of hurt, and that's when you get there, and you're still doing pretty good.
Cool. All
You're
right.
going to need to get up to the portholes on... There's a porthole on each side of the ship, so you can pick either one. They keep oscillating between 1 foot and 3 feet above water.
Okay. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is like, and these portholes are it's just like a bolt that you unscrew that goes with my tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is there's no handle or anything for me to grab onto, eh?
No, not really. You could try to do delicate to grab onto the edge of the porthole.
Yeah. Okay. So instead, what I'm gonna do is like take either the claw end of a hammer or like maybe a knife from my toolbox and try and use it like a python and just jam it into the wood there
So
and use that as a handle.
you make your first attempt, trying to stay quiet, and for a second you kind of catch, and then it goes loose. The second time you get a good catch, but you think it's gonna break the edge of your dagger. You could probably make a good hit and embed yourself, but you need something to distract from the noise. Bilgy is waiting for guidance as to like where you want him to interfere, or if you want him to try and do the other one.
I mean, honestly, if he tries to do the other one and we do this as quickly as possible, that's probably the best strategy. So instead of making a big loud noise by jamming stuff into there, um, hmm. Is there anywhere that I could loop my Hawaiian shirt around like a rope?
There is a railing above, as long as nobody notices.
No
But if
one
they see
notices
it,
a
they're going to
giant
see a
red.
yeah, they'll see a red shirt.
Are my pants less red?
Your pants are less red. They're a nice quiet brown.
All right, I'll try with my pants.
You kind of awkwardly shuffle out of them underwater and then get ready to loop your cargo shorts over. Do you just go for broke?
I listen. I listen to hear if there's footsteps or, I mean, sailors chatting up above. But if I don't hear anything, then yeah, go for broke, baby.
So you get there a little bit, and at first you hear people passing. You hear something in Westron, you think, maybe, and then they pass. And then quiet. You have an opportunity.
Okay, go, 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 go.
You kind of scramble up. You loop them around, and with one hand you kind of you're awkwardly against this. You take out your screwdriver and you start unscrewing. Are you doing brawn to try and just hold on as long as you can?
Yes, absolutely.
Grace?
I'm doing brawn.
Okay.
like no question about it. I'm doing brawn.
Okay, so you're not being slick. You're not being quick. You're just like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall.
Yeah, and that is a 21 for don't fall, don't fall, don't fall.
Well, it's a good thing you still have your shirt on because it's a Hawaiian shirt with a little pocket, and you put the first screw in there. The window is at the point where you don't need to fully take it off. You could loosen it, and then it would slide off. But as you do that, do you have a second screwdriver?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Bilgy has that from you, and
Yep.
He's on the same side, so you can visually communicate. He's got claws though, and he digs in, and you can see him carefully grasp the edge of like the window. There's a couple times where he like comes loose, but then he stabilizes again, and then he starts screwing, sticks it in his pocket, almost slips, gets a bit closer, screws a bit more. You have to stop because you hear somebody walking up, like right above you.
I look over to see how my friend is doing.
Nobody is nearby. Bilgy looks at you, he looks at them, and then he kind of struggles to do it with his free hand, but he taps the wrist he's holding onto the window with, and he just puts a finger to his mouth, and he keeps unscrewing.
I nod. Can I roll delicate to try and unscrew real quiet like?
Go for it.
Okay. You
Gonna
would
be
think that it's
relying
some...
on that physical.
Oh, I am indeed. I mean, I have 1 dot in delicate,
Okay.
just to like, because I work with bombs. You never
Yeah,
know
that
when you want
makes
to.
sense. That makes sense.
So that is a 12.
12.
That 1 dot doing a whole lot of good.
You
I
loosen
rolled
it.
2 ones.
You loosen it to the point where you could open it, but you don't feel confident enough to actually open it yet while they're still there. It could make a creaking and then they would hear you.
Yeah.
Back on the ship, do you guys just keep moving? The current
Yeah.
status is that the ship you're trying to head to is north of you. The ship that you're passing by is like on the opposite side of the island. The island's on this side. And behind you is the yellow belly.
Ignore the yellow belly. Go on to our target.
Stay on target.
All right. You continue on and go around the corner. You can see the pier. You can see the other ship is there. They're watching you pass again.
Okay. Hop off the ship and get going. Call me a tuna.
All right, I'm a call a tuna.
Call me a
Or-
tuna, because
Or fish of equivalent capability as a tuna.
Yeah.
So you don't leave quite when you're opposite the way you could with the other one, because there might be light from the pier. You drop off a little ways before, and then you have to kind of come diagonal and go back to the pier.
Okay.
That was a 28 for tuna.
28. You summon a tuna, and a confident tuna at that.
This tuna will get you.
Now,
Smack foot of the tuna. This tuna will get you there.
Is this satchel charge an inside satchel charge or an outside?
This is an inside satchel charge. You're gonna have to climb onto the boat and get it actually like physically into the munitions thing, which is in the middle of the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal.
It can be wet for travel, but it can't be wet when it goes off.
Okay.
Like, it can't be submerged when it goes off.
All right. Bring me over there.
You begrudgingly put the breather on and grab onto a tuna you haven't met before. It lurches forward. Do you want to give me a brawn or a grace or a delicate?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I am specifically piloting this tuna in such a way that I know that she's not really the brawn person. So I'm going a little bit slower, but also to make sure that I'm maintaining control of the tuna.
I'm going to roll grace.
So I would say I'm probably not as fast as Bilgy.
Alright, so you're not moving as quickly, but you're maintaining a very consistent rhythm, like a swim, 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 swim. What's the grace roll?
18.
18. You maintain a decent grip. You almost slip a couple times, but each time that the tuna twists, you're able to use your knees and kind of get a bit closer up. The tuna kind of swims around aimlessly by the base of the ship when you get there.
All right, time to climb on.
What side of the ship do you climb onto?
Whatever
It's-
side looks like is the easiest.
It's a symmetrical ship. It is facing kind of parallel to a port, so there's a port side and like an ocean side. There's also the port and starboard. Or not port and starboard, bow and stern.
Ocean side, because they're probably looking at the port.
You bob up on the far side. You don't hear anybody above, and you see the ladder doesn't have a guard posted up top. You get a bit closer up, and sure enough, there's still some people keeping guard. You can't just walk onto the ship, but they're all sitting there
Are these
watching.
people in uniform?
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
You just wanted to like walk up and be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, I was just gonna act like you belong, sort of just walk in with purpose, but that's
So, Crockwell, you're on the ship. You've got to maintain your focus, but it's starting to drift away as they keep piloting. Do you want to give me another roll to just keep the tuna there a little bit longer? The tuna's gonna probably bring Jane back if you can extend it, but
Well, I keep rolling. I rolled 3 6s and a 1. So
Okay.
a lot of good and then some bad, you know. So it's 29. Yeah.
29. The tuna is very strongly attracted to the area, and you maintain a connection at distance by trying to just peter it off bit by bit. It's going to end up to the tuna being a weakening connection, but you have to get stronger and stronger until it's too much for you. The ship slowly goes around the far side of the island, the forested end, and you can't see either ship at this point. Sun.
That's me.
You know what? No, I'm not going to do odds or evens. I feel like you just got to see this.
Okay.
You listen to the people like chatting in Westron, and then you see them gesture off, and you see them point at the yellow belly. You see them also point in a direction, and do like this motion, and then you see them walk to another section of the ship to keep talking.
Like
It's no longer quiet, but you
like
see
a witch motion? Like a...
It was like a this.
Look at this.
like at first they just
Oh.
point, and then
Oh.
when they're pointing to the place the red snapper was, they go there, and then wow.
Huh. The red snapper. Alright.
And when you look at the yellow belly, like after they pass, you see two figures climb off and start swimming to the island.
Well, we got Otto there.
We got out of there. Alright, well... They're either in for a terrible, terrible surprise, or we'll deal with them in 10 minutes when we get back.
Did you end up setting
Actually,
up
they're not close enough for Otto. Otto's over the caves right now.
Yeah, Otto's over the caves, but he's looking over the camp, right? Like,
Oh no, is Otto at the rookery or at the camp?
Otto is on top of the tower where we're going to install the...
Okay, so that's at the rookery. So he's looking over you right now as you do the work.
Yep. So, yeah, he'll, I mean, there's no way that he'd be able to see me from here. I have to just finish my work and get back there as quickly as possible.
You move the window out of the way, get the barrel in there, and start to screw it shut. You're not too concerned with the structural... Sorry, go ahead.
I just have, like, if there's, like, 6 screws, I'm doing 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like-
you're keeping things quick. After you finish up, Bill G didn't have to pause, so Bill G's done a bit quicker, but you're still a fast worker, so you're not done too much after. Bill G shifts again into a tuna and starts to move you off towards the cave.
Yep, I'm throwing my jeans on, and, yeah, I'm headed towards the cave. Which is the way that those guys were headed, eh?
They were headed to the southern beaches.
Which is, like, the opposite side of the cave.
But the southern beaches are where I set up that early warning thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well...
Okay. There's still
Hey.
a chance.
Well, I will let Bill G know at the earliest convenience when we're sort of out of lantern light, if that makes sense.
All right, Jane. You're at the edge of the ship, and you have the opportunity to move ahead a little bit. There's like almost like little cabins that rise above the deck of the ship, like a story, so you can kind of like hide behind sections. And then there's open bits with like, like openings into the lower decks.
I'm trying to get into the belly of the ship to find where like gunpowder is, but I don't want to get caught, so.
You see a very open, like wide downward staircase, but next to you is also a door into whatever cabin you're in right now.
Maya has things to say.
Yeah.
Downward staircase, very open. Okay, I check to see if there's anybody there.
You wait for a moment and peer around. But there's a couple of people who are standing very close, but they're looking towards the pier right now. If you roll delicate, you might be able to move past. Otherwise, this isn't something you can grace through or brawn through. This is just being quiet.
Delicate time.
Delicate time, da-da-da-da, delicate time.
I got a 17.
Nice.
I've gotten
17.
only 17s and 18s this game.
You overhear a bit of the conversation in Western as you're passing. They're talking about, like, it's not a waste of manpower, it's for the intelligence. Even then, though, you got to admit the upcoming vote is, render some of this useless. It's not gonna. And the other guy goes, "What upcoming vote?" Well, I know not to talk to you for tactical advice. And then you're out of earshot.
Cool.
Hmm.
Upcoming vote. Keep that in mind. Tell the others. Alright, I gotta find some gunpowder. Get the hell out of here.
You hear the sound of a soldier coming one way and like an obvious only way out where you can kind of duck around a corner.
Mhm.
You make your way past, and you can hear the soldier passing for a moment. You'll have an opening, but for now, it's like there's one set of long, uninterrupted corridors. You're really lucky you didn't get seen.
Mhm.
And then there's just little ones that intersperse at lengths. There's doors all up and down, and you can see portholes here and there as well.
I might be able to hop out of a porthole instead of like coming back through the ship. Okay, still gonna try to find the gunpowder room. And then hopefully there's a porthole in there that I can just jump out of.
All right, you can go towards the bow or towards the stern.
From Jane's experience with boats, where would the likely spot for the gunpowder room to be?
Wouldn't she have seen Kenanye's schematics?
Kennedy's schematics were for the one because it's a very old Imperial ship. This
Gotcha.
one is a purchased merchant ship, so it's been
Gotcha.
retrofitted.
Gotcha.
It's more a question of where would you put it after buying this. This probably had, just some small powder reserves somewhere for when the merchants needed to fend off pirates. But as a military ship, they probably had to retrofit a larger space for that. So maybe you're looking for one of the cargo holds. Maybe you're looking for like one of the rooms that's been turned into something else.
Probably a cargo hold. I'm gonna check the cargo hold.
All right. You remember seeing latches kind of towards the bow of the ship. The first one you get to, you hear the sound of very faint conversation because this one's the cargo hold right where all these people are. They're just kind of above it. It's like yours where it has that latticed ceiling where you would have to be quiet, but they wouldn't necessarily see you.
Okay. All right. Sneak on through.
All right. Are you doing grace to get through this quickly, brawn to just hold your breath, or delicate to not make noise?
Delicate. $16.
16. You quietly open the door and close it behind you so there's no unwelcome light. You freeze like a deer in headlights for a moment because above you through the latticework there's someone walking by with a torch. But nobody sees you in the projected light. You're back in the dark for a moment, but there's too many people walking by over top. You don't want to stay here long. You see crates. Some of them have old uniforms. Some of them have food. A couple of them you don't need to check. You can hear from the sloshing that there's water inside. There's no powder here.
I'm gonna grab one of those old uniforms.
Yeah.
I can put that on real quick.
You quickly, pull it off to the side and try not to be seen as you throw it on. You have to pause for a moment as you hear someone pass, and then keep going. What are you going to do with your jacket? It's big and heavy.
I'm gonna just put the uniform on over top of it.
Boy.
Oh,
Okay.
man. That has got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I probably look like kind of bulky, but
You aren't able to get a jacket on. Those are too tight. You have to pause for a moment. You have to get out of here before they see you. You've been here too long. Your smuggler senses are like you can't just camp here. But you find like a tabard that you would put over armor. Good enough, and then you're out.
okay. All right.
By the time you've closed the door behind you and you're back in the secluded hallways, you look down at yourself and you might be someone that someone could see at the end of the hallway and not report them, but you would not stand up to a close inspection. You do hear the guard coming the other way lackadaisically. There's a moment, though, as you can hear him kind of step, step. You know now the layout is kind of like the big, long, single square grid.
Yeah. Alright, they must have converted one of the rooms then. So I'll look for that. I'm still gonna, like, avoid detection, but I'm hoping that if somebody sees me walking around, they're not gonna, like, you know.
Yeah. You get a little bit. So you're going to turn back and check the rooms, or are you going to check the further cargo holds to the?
Oh,
stern
further
of the
cargo
ship?
holds. Yeah, further ones. I didn't realize there was more than one.
So you go and you check. You're checking to see how far back the other ones are, and you turn back. You see another set of doors, and you go. You get a bit closer. What's your stealth roll for this one? Delicate again, Grace.
Delicate again. 20.
20. You crack open the door very quietly and slip in. This area of the ship was a bit more dimly lit, so you don't need to worry about light, mostly noise. You creep over a little. You get really low and slink down because you hear steps. Someone hesitates for a concerning amount of time and they're holding a lantern, so there's a bit of projected light, but you're not really visible. Just highlights your boot for a second and then disappears. You wait for a moment. Something has to happen. There's a laugh. You crack a barrel. You take the one that you have. You kind of like look for a spot. It isn't the same size as the other one, so you have to take their bigger powder barrels and kind of shove it inside. Take some of these handfuls, just toss them out. Smells a little, but nobody's here. Yeah. You kind of close it down again.
You can hear Sun almost sobbing in your ear as you throw good powder on the ground.
There's doors on either side of the room, and you can hear a guard coming from behind you. There's one way out through the other door. You're not sure if he'll come in, though.
Is there a porthole in this room?
No. There's still another little bit of ship forward to this, but this was the powder room. The portholes are, like, there's the central cargo hold, and then the hallways go along the sides of the ship, and the portholes are in the hallway.
Okay, it'd probably just be easier to jump off the ship then than to try to, like, get out a porthole. Because they often don't even open.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just thinking. Yeah, time to get out of here as quickly as possible.
All right. You open the other door. You don't hear the other door open or close behind you when you came through, but you have to hold your breath because the guard comes around the other way. You reopen the door, hide in the cargo hold for a second. Guard passes. You wait for some steps, go through the door again, and he's going the other way down the ship.
Cool.
There's a porthole nearby. There's the main staircase a couple of hallways down, though.
Does it seem like the porthole would open?
There's a latch. You pop it and swing.
Can I fit my body through?
And your crossbow. I'm assuming, do you have your crossbow with you?
I don't think I would take it, because I'm trying to be sneaky, right?
Do you still have your small sword then, or are you defenseless here?
I would have my small sword, yes.
Alright, so you don't have to worry about the crossbow. It is still a tight fit. You'll have to squeeze your way through and then pivot and then squeeze a bit more and hope that you don't make a splash when you hit the water.
Do the pencil dive.
Do you go head first or foot first?
I would hang out the porthole, like, kind of gently close it, and then just so it looks like...
This is like the porthole is like the size of your computer screen. You can fit through, but like, you're not going to easily just hip, drip, drop. Like, you're going to have to contort through.
Okay.
So, head first or feet first?
I would try to do feet first. I would try to hang off and then kind of pencil dive into the water.
All right. Want to give me a roll for that? And tell me what kind of roll you try.
I'm going to do a grace. 16.
16. You just kind of go, whoop, and you try to get both your feet up since it's there, and then you shuffle, and then twist. It's not the quietest thing, but it's not especially loud. At this point, you kind of got like your ass and both legs hanging out the side. You're able to get your torso through now. Want to give me another roll? Tell me what kind you pick.
Another grace. $19.
19. You like get over the edge, you halt yourself, and then you're doing a very quiet pencil dive, and like inches from the water, you hear someone go, "Did you just hear something?" But you're underwater already. You see the form of the tuna pass, and it starts to recognize you and circle, waiting a little bit for you to catch on, doing the little like figure eights. Now that it's further from Croakwill, it's getting a little bit more seemingly confused about its goal. There's worrying moments where it lists off to the side and then back, and then it'll go down a bit and then up a bit higher than you'd like. But you see the side of the ship like a hull and then a beam. You're back at the pier.
Nice. Climb out of the water.
I tell that ship if it wants food, or I tell the fish that if it wants food, to go back to that other ship. It'll get food in a little bit.
All right.
Well, don't stay too close. Oh my god.
So Jane, you are back on the
tell
pier.
it the distance.
Sun and Bilgy are hiding in the cave. The boat starts to make a second pass by the cavern area. What's the plan here? Are you going to climb back on shore or just like meet them at camp? Bilgewater, Sun, and Jane. Jane's at pier. Sun and Bilgy are at the cavern area. Sorry, dice are hitting the floor.
So from the cavern area to camp is pretty short, eh?
It's night, so you'll want to, be a little bit careful as you bushwhack, but you could make your way overland.
It would take like maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Like a half hour.
A half hour. I'm going to Bilgy saying, well, listen, Jane's at port, and we got some spies down at the southern beach. My vote is we hightail it to the pier, inform Jane, and then go root them out ourselves, eh?
Yeah, I agree. You know what? He shudders and you see him turn into, of all things, a cat, and you're not sure why, just like a house cat, but then you see the glimmer of the eyes. He goes, You act like I'm not here. I'll follow you and keep my eyes out, okay?
Sounds good.
Alright, what skill are you using to get back to camp?
What skill am I gonna use?
Mental munitions.
Mental munitions? No. I'm gonna... following the coast for the most part. And I feel like that's a lot of grace, a lot of sand stepping and tree avoiding.
All right, go for it.
Hello, puppy.
All right.
What are you doing?
What is she doing?
Oh, she's got garbage.
I'm 13. Garbage? Garbage? Oh,
committing crimes.
Yeah.
So, you said you rolled a 13?
I did.
It's kind of awkward. Takes a bit of time. You have to follow the beach a little ways, but then the beach stops. You can follow sections of grass along the edge of the trees, but there's a few moments where you have to step on some bits of rock by the edge of the seashore and then grab onto a tree and go around.
Yeah.
It's awkward, but you make your way back to the camp and to the pier where you see Jane. Bilgy transforms behind you. We'll be back in a tick.
Nice.
Did you happen to see anything interesting? Did you plant your bombs?
I did. Man, my bombs are so planted, you wouldn't believe.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, there's also some spies sneaking onto shore.
Should we go check that out?
Croco's mad because
Probably.
none of her flares have gone off.
Yeah,
Although
I
I
mean-
like to imagine Sun, who has meticulously planted landmines around his hammock, would go to this area where I've planted these runes and just be like, "What the fuck is this?" I could
So
see them.
visible.
Look at that
I
piece
can
of
see
driftwood. I
'em.
could see the rune on that driftwood.
Yeah, you totally can see him, like, dude. That's no good.
Just like that's
You know what'd
not.
be funny if they ended up going to the hammock. They're like, oh look, we're gonna lay down in the hammock real quick, and then boom.
It
Oh
just
my
so happens
God.
that their way of sneaking around the island leads them to the hammock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would be the best alert system we could come up with.
It really would be, eh?
We're gonna catch these spies. We're gonna figure out once and for all why they keep coming onto our fucking island.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, we will.
Oh, you're still muted,
You're
Will.
muted.
Am I muted?
No, Will.
No,
Oh.
not you.
The first time I
Oh.
said hey, I definitely looked back and I was like, I forgot to press the button. And then I pressed it, but it like, you know when a button misreads your press and it quick double presses and re-deactivates?
Yeah.
Anyways, now I'm here.
Well, that's
Nice.
So, Sun has told us that there are spies on this island.
Yeah.
What?
How does Croquill reunite with the group? If you guys are on patrol. You already
Oh, I'm
agreed
on
that you were going to
patrol,
drop them
okay.
off.
Okay.
Yeah, so currently, Bilgy and Sun and Jane are gone, which means Rutger, Tiana, Tenendier, and you are piloting the ship.
Well, where are we on the island? Are we on the north side or the south side?
You're on the boat.
Yeah, I know, but what side of the island?
Oh, you went around the west side. Now you've passed the south. You're getting close to the cave.
Okay.
You don't see them.
I think we just proceed north more. I guess, like, we just keep doing the rotation and going back.
Yeah.
You still don't see them, and as you get up to the pier, you definitely don't see Jane, but you do see her on the pier. You don't see the others yet. I'm going to mess with chronology a bit. Do you make another pass?
No, I think we dock at this point.
All right. Is another ship going to go out on patrol now as you guys dock up? Or are you just quickly, not necessarily fully mooring your ship to the pier, just exchanging people?
Probably an exchanging of people a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Sun and Bilgy aren't there yet, but Jane, you reunite you with the ship while they slow up and you help anchor their ropes down for a second.
Oh man,
Hello?
you guys. Oh, this is what we should have done is got 4 of those things, so we'd have one last one that would let us know when they were gonna blow. Dang.
Well, we know when you
Like one that's just like boom, and then we're like, wait for it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Exactly.
Oh, we could have put it on top, like in an area that is completely unpopulated and has no structures or anything like that. Put it there, and then we set the other ships to explode. That way we can claim that they fired first.
Yes. See, now that's thinking.
Sure, there was only like a 5-second interval, and there was no possible way we could have done any of that, but
Really not.
we
Yeah.
assumed we
So-
were under fire.
So Sun and Bilgy are not there. It's just Jane and Croquill. You're sitting by the boat waiting for them. You haven't seen them yet. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna tell them about that conversation I overheard about. There's a vote here, for the intel.
Vote.
Yeah.
Never been one for politics. I'm not really sure what that means.
Oh yeah.
what the word vote means?
No, I know what the word vote means, but I don't understand what the context is. Are they electing someone? Like, what's going on?
You might need eyes somewhere else.
Yeah.
At this point, Son, you and Bilgy come out by the edge of camp, and you can see off the end of the pier, Jane and Croquill are talking. You're about halfway there going to meet up with them when all of you see the flare go off.
Yes! Crocodle's immediately just like, it went off! There's someone over there!
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you guys. Oof.
It's like, well, we know where they are, so...
That we do, friend.
Alright, let's go snag them.
Alright, Warbles.
I agree.
Warbles, go up high in the sky and see if you can spot them on the beachhead.
All right, who's all fanning out to try and find them? Currently, because it's night, everyone's just kind of sitting at camp. The boxworks are just an empty building right now, so if anybody were to break in, they would just be like, oh, there's a rectangular room here, and a rectangular room here.
There's a whole lot of empty space here. Wow.
Like, those explosions don't take down the ships entirely. We're gonna need the ship to be, like, ready to go.
True.
Right.
We're gonna need
have...
the finish them off crew, which probably would need Canonier for the apparatus.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay on the ship.
All right.
If you guys want to go after those guys.
And the ship's at the pier, eh?
Yeah.
So if you're climbing on the ship, I'm saying, Jane, would you be a dear and fetch me my shotgun?
Yeah, I'll go get you your shotgun.
And my armor.
Yeah, I'll go get you your armor too.
You have armor?
Well, it's a blast apron, but better than nothing.
Yeah, you haven't really seen Sun use this a lot, but he goes, catches the shotgun, leans it down against like a crate. He catches the armor with a hunk, and he goes shunk, shunk, and it's like basically just a bomb vest. Grabs the shotgun.
All right, let's go find ourselves some spies.
All right. So Jane's on the ship. Kenny's going to need to fire the apparatus.
Mm-hmm.
Rutger can help with the ropes, and he could go down and help load it. Do you want anyone else on the ship for ease, or is this just a contingency and you're sending everyone else like on shore?
I think we should send at least one more. Like maybe Tiana, or maybe Tiana wants to come with us if she was looking. Tiana's been looking for some close quarters combat, and this might be it.
All right, Tiana comes with you. Bilgy goes onto the ship, and then the ship goes out to continue its patrols.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of you start to make your way inland. Where are you looking?
Where that flare went off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're starting towards the southern beaches. And I'm continuously asking Warbles if he sees anything.
Are you just asking Warbles if Warbles sees anything, or are you asking Warbles to look?
I'm asking Warbles to look for shinies, like specifically people, but you know, shinies are probably the easier thing for him to spot.
You send Warbles up, and Warbles just kind of stays up there looking, since Warbles hasn't seen anything yet. You keep running past the camp. There's kind of a central cluster of trees, forest. Which side do you go, left or right?
The boat or the people on the
The people on land.
Oh yeah. I mean, we want to spread out, right? Like we're this is a search party.
I'll take Tiana left, and you go right.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
And Bilgy's here with us as a cat, right?
No, Bilgy went on the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
So it's Sun alone, and then Croquill and Tiana, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sun has Juggernaut and 10 physical and a Masterwork pistol and a shot. Like, look.
Look.
He'll be fine.
If we had to have spread out and search for clues. And a person who is in peak physical condition and able to see with 20/20 vision versus a person with no physical condition and blind.
Yeah.
I'm taking Tiana.
You're stumbling out in the sand, like, where's my bird? Where's my bird?
It's like I hear people walking around me. Who is it?
Both of you rejoin yourselves at an intersection. You came from, there's like, almost like in a star pattern, like 5 ways in and out. You came from both of the bottom ends. One end to one side goes off towards, it's not a beach, it's just a shore, like a rocky shore that you couldn't use as a beach, towards the trees. The other end goes up towards the rookery and straight goes to where the flare went off. You can see a bit of disturbance in the sand where the flare would have gone off, and around that you just see open sand. You don't see anyone moving.
So they were around here at some point, and then they hightailed it.
Yeah.
Croakwill, do you want to roll ritual?
Okay. I love rolling ritual.
Also, what's everybody's energy like? Do you want this to be extended and cockamamie or swift?
I'm gonna say swift. Maya's restless.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
That is a 28.
28, alright. So you are getting close to the scorch mark. What are you doing next?
I'm gonna try and figure out where they went next, but it's kind of
It's
a little
sand.
bit... I mean, do they have footprints?
Tiana points them out, and then Sun notices soon after. From the scorch mark, they seem to have dodged out of the way, and then run up towards the beach. You turn towards a location, and Croakwill, you feel the ritual. Sun, you and Tiana aren't sure what you saw. You aren't sure if it was just the wind or something, but Warble saw something shiny going towards the rookery.
They're going for the codes. They're going for the rookery.
At this, Sun is gonna yell at the top of his lungs, "Otto! Searchlight! We got intruders!"
Roll brawn. Or perform.
Probably
like
perform.
I like that brawn is the measure of projection of voice. It feels accurate. It feels right.
Oh yeah, that's a 19, baby.
So you
scream.
You yell like you're in the basement and your kid's in the attic and you need your kid to change the channel. You go, "Ah! Searchlight!" From there, Otto pans over. The light attenuates with distance, so it isn't useful other sections of the tree line, but you watch Warbles circling over, and then Warbles comes back to you after they get lost in the section of trees. Jane, you're watching this take place, and one of the ships starts to leave. The 5-masted is starting to move.
The bombs haven't gone off yet, have they?
No. Now, are they more than 2 hours away from port?
Depends on the wind.
How's the wind
Probably.
looking? The direction they're going, how's the wind looking?
They might not make it. It'll probably just be in the middle of the ocean.
Cool.
Okay. Interesting.
So this one initially is going westward, but you can see it's starting to turn northward afterwards. Are you going to pursue?
Is it going like around the island?
No, it's leaving the island.
No, not gonna pursue.
Not even
We'll
to watch
kind
the
of follow
fireworks?
follow it to like make sure that it's leaving, but
You escort it to the edge of the boundary and follow it a little further, but then you leave it and turn back towards the island to continue patrols.
this is
Back
that
on-
the 4-masted or the
5-masted. The 4-masted is still there. Auto turns on. You can see the light from here, you can see some of the faint cone, mostly just like when Otto turns on and sweeps towards you, you get a blink, and then you can see kind of a part of the tower by the edge of the telescope section is lit. You can watch the beam go kind of closer to like the base of the forest, and then you watch warbles get lost as they dive into the trees, and they aren't visible by searchlight anymore. But Otto, you watch like click to a broader one. It's faintly lit, but it shows sections of the forest. It's slowly panning from side to side to try to get all of it, but the forest is a bit too big in this patch. There's a ridge that's too high on one side, a ridge too low on the other ones. There's a main path up that they came, and then there's two directions they could flee. You are coming up from below.
All right. Is there a role anyone could do that would be like, I don't know, fleeing authority role? That would be like, yeah,
Smuggling?
if I was running from a searchlight, this is where I would go.
Smuggling.
I asked Tiana. Tiana is the most likely to have any sort of ability like that.
Tiana's just like,
I have Omen Watcher. So I'm gonna ask Sun to pick a direction, and I'm gonna Omen Watcher that direction.
I'm pointing like, I guess in the fastest way to get down to the water, if that makes sense.
so you guys are coming out the base. They couldn't come your way. So there's one way that goes north towards the pier and towards the ship that left. There's one way that goes southwest, back down the ridge. It's dangerous. It's close to the rookery, and it drops you off by the sea cave.
Oh, sea cave.
I want to Omen Watcher
Definitely.
that. Will we have luck finding the people if we go that way?
You feel lucky going for the sea cave.
Sea cave.
All right.
All right. The way up from the rookery, which would have otherwise been convenient, is unused. It's just a hole. There's Croquill, Tiana, and Sun all charging up the hill. For a brief moment, Otto pans, and you see them flash, and then they're gone back in the trees. Warbles is lost and is just kind of sailing back to the ship since Warbles doesn't know where to find you.
All right.
I'm fine with
Well,
Warbles just going to the ship for now, so I'll just let
These
them do that.
poor bastards. They're not gonna like what happens when we find them.
By now, you're up by the Rookery Tower. You're at the edge of the clearing. There's a wide clearing around it for defense purposes. You're close to the tree line. It goes downhill from here. They probably didn't cross the opening. You could try to find a way down into the sea cave. You could make your way up to the cliffs, but then you couldn't find them. Or you could take the long road, and they might already be swimming when you get there.
Let's split up. I'm headed down to the long road, and so if they're already swimming by the time we get there, and then if the others want to try and like follow them directly, if that makes sense.
I think the opposite. There's no way I'm gonna be able to go the dangerous path.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the dangerous path.
I
then.
can't make that path. I need to go the long way.
All right, sounds good to me.
Or Croquill flying.
Well, there's the cliff, the long way, and the dangerous path, and Croquill can't go any of those directions without assistance. You can split in two, but not in three.
Okay, you take the long path. I'll take the dangerous path, I suppose.
All right. You double back and get to the cave entrance, close to where the rookery is, like the high one.
Yeah.
Here you can see old climbing equipment that looks rotten as shit. You give it a tug to see, like, is this at least mildly structurally strong? And you just pull a piton out of the wall.
Ping. So there's no way they jump down here.
No. You've lost a bit of time. You can see Tiana and Croquill going down the road. You're not far from the overlook. Like the cliff face. Unless you want to follow behind them and then catch up to them in a minute.
Here's what Sun's thinking. What goes through his head is, I could probably survive that fall. Like, there's no way to try and jump from the cliff down to the water, eh? Like, it's all beach under here.
From the cliff to the water is like it's a super fun like lakeside activity in broad daylight, and it is literal suicide at night.
Hey, noted. In that case, I am, yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, I don't have any rope on me. I guess I'm
You are also close to instead of going down the hole or down the slow route or like over to the cliff, you could go up the Rookery Tower to Otto.
I do that. But, I guess I'm gonna holler for Otto to, I'm kind of pointing him in the direction, southwest ocean, keep an eye out for swimmers.
He gives a quick like vert vert that you can see because of the like light cone, and then he starts to scan through the sea.
Hey,
Croquill, you and Tiana get down there, and like the light passes over, and Tiana goes, "Shit, I need luck. Can you give me luck?"
Instantly, your luck.
All right. Do you want to do her roll? 46 plus 5.
Well, if I gave her luck, isn't that just max?
True.
yeah.
So that'd be 24, 29. There's a shot, and you hear like a and like a couple of little sploofs where the like projectile hits a wave. The light passes over for a second, but you don't really see anything. Son, you get up to the top of the tower, and you are like up at Otto's like control point with the searchlight going. It's
See
still on
anything?
broad mode.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into focus mode here and feel like
You go into focus mode. You pan over, you don't see anything, it's too thin. Otto like boots up on the back of his head like a display. It looks like there's a couple of different options that you can flip through. You're not sure if you coded these or if these were already in the head or not. The labels are all dwarvish, so this might be the old code that's still in there.
You got one filter that's like a thermal filter, one filter that's
Yeah.
like sepia tone, and another filter that makes everyone have dog nose.
Dog nose, yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing if there's a thermal imaging setup or I don't know.
So you press 1 and it's high contrast. Nope. You press the other one, bingo, thermal. You see one of them like floundering and then starting to drown. The other one is almost at the ship.
All right. Oh, almost at the ship that's like the four-masted one that's still here.
Yeah.
All right. So the one that's flounder. Okay, the one that's almost at the ship. Yeah, he's getting a couple cannonballs.
All right. Want to give me a roll?
I would love to.
God, can you just imagine being on that ship and you're just like, oh, the guy's coming back. Yeah, he'll be fine. Then all of a sudden you just hear gunshots and you see like muzzle flashes coming from a lighthouse, basically. And the guy just gets obliterated.
Well,
it's just like
so that just with my raw weapon, that's 46 plus 10, and then I believe I double it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is 52.
All right. Are you consuming a power charge for this for the doubling? Otherwise, it's just your weapon.
Yeah. I'm consuming a power charge.
So if you were going to bring auto, why would you not bring the engine? You fire it up, you give it a kick, and then auto helps with the auto assist. You see, like, you have to adjust a little bit for wind, and then you start going clunk, clunk, clunk. You can already see auto, like, the servos you can hear going wild even through the gunshots as they're, like, controlling and individually trying to, like, hold this on balance at high distance. A bunch of them go wide, but you see, like, floop, floop through the water. At all of the obvious gunshots, the fourth ship is starting to unfurl its sails and start to leave. It's going directly eastward.
All right. Well, with that, I am moving the spotlight onto the drowning guy.
It's underwater.
Well, I'm still keeping the spotlight there to see if any of my friends want to do anything about it.
I'm
It's
telling
not
the
visible anymore.
I'm telling the tuna. I
Mm.
told you so. There would be food.
All right. Well,
You watch as
Hey.
a third heat signature kind of comes around the cave side and bumps one of them. It almost seems to be bullying the guy. It's not fun to watch.
all right. Well, good work, Gondo. Whew. You know, you did real good out there, and I'm proud of you.
The ship slowly departs, and after a few minutes, nobody's managed to successfully swim on shore. Tiana kind of turns to you, Crowquill, and goes, "Think we got him? I don't think I could have handled that."
Otto's gonna be a good lookout for the island.
Yeah. No. Those two ships exploding are going to be a. Like that might be just kind of an issue for the port they wind up at.
So at the top of the rookery, you're sitting here going, "Oh shit! How long ago was?" And you're nervously keeping an eye out, and then Otto goes, "Now I think."
Huh.
It's the stormy sea, so there's lightning flashes every now and again. But there's two in different spots out in the ocean that are redder than they should be.
I really wish we had the telescope for that.
I know.
Roll odds or evens.
I'll roll. Okay. Evens. Yeah, you know me.
Well, another successful tuna maneuver.
That's an odd. That's a 3.
All right, you look over at Otto. You look at the island. You can see like the ship kind of it followed them off a little bit. Now it's coming back over to the pier, and you can see by the clearing at the base of the tower that Tiana and Crowquill have come back to reunite with you.
Well,
Gang's all back together.
gang's all back together. You know, it would be nice to know there were no survivors, but I'm fairly confident that having their entire munition hold go up is not boding well for anybody on the flotsam and jitsam.
Especially in the stormy sea.
At
Definitely not
night.
gonna be a fun time.
At night.
At night.
At night, man, we told them the messed up thing is we did in fact tell them to move 1 kilometer out, and they did do that.
You know, maybe we start spreading the rumor that this island is cursed.
Yeah.
Well, we got to spread the rumor about something, because I think right now the rumor is it's going to spread as there's a bunch of violent, militaristic weirdos up here.
I mean, they're not wrong. That's less of a rumor and more of an accuracy, really.
Yeah, well,
Well, any
I don't
last
like
business before I close it?
No?
no?
All right. You've successfully repelled, mostly successfully, partially successfully repelled an attempt to gain intel. Although it did involve you running through the forest going, "Shit, I think they went that way."
Yeah.
I
And then they
mean,
blew up, right?
if they
So-
were expecting us to have military precision, they hired the wrong group.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
But then they blew up, so...
And they got no intel out of it.
I didn't get slick
They
on
lost
intel.
That we know of.
Well, that doesn't mean they're out of ideas. We'll find out what ideas they have the next time we're here. If you want to come check out this channel, it's at twitch.tv/Croden_live. If you want to check us out on YouTube, where these videos are archived, it's at youtube.com/Mr. Croden. Or is it just Croden now? I always forget. It used to be one thing, and then it's another.
Mr. Croden. Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Croden. Still.
It's been years. We should probably know this.
Okay.
But you can also check out one of the versions of this at bloodwine.fandom.com. As it was mentioned in this stream, I'm still working on like a finalized version, but that takes back burner behind the job I need to have rent and food. So,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, the book doesn't get done. It doesn't get done. Donate bits. I don't know. Then I'll have 10 cents that I can put towards. Well, let's be real. I'll have 10
I'll
cents.
have 10 cents that when I eventually get a payout from Twitch, I might put back into the stream, or I'll use it to buy more figurines.
Probably the figurine.
Probably the figurines.
I mean, that's why people come, right?
Of course, for figurines.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a line. Have a good night.
Yep.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.